Survivor specialist Phil and Will are back, and tonight we're joined by special guest Julia Sokolowski.
Julia Soko.
Julia Soko.
No, that's good. You guys are good.
Well, this is exciting. Somehow, so we're going to break down the season 34 cast here, but somehow my sister got in touch with Julia, and I have no really idea how. I just know that 1 second my sister's saying she knows somebody who knows Julia, and the next Julia's like, oh yeah, I would love to go on. So we've been waiting for this for like a month and a half for this to happen. Like, we've known this was coming. But that was my shout out to my sister. Otherwise, I think.
Yeah, thanks to Phil's sister. That's huge news, and we're so happy to have someone. Not that we didn't like the Millennials versus Gen X people; they were great. But this is our first interview with somebody who's not from that season. So really pumped to have you here.
That's exciting. I'm so excited.
There's a lot of pressure on you here because we love the Millennials versus Gen X cast. They were really fun.
They've been really good. So
yeah, they're awesome. I've met a few of them, and they're really cool. I love them. So I have a high bar. Standards are high.
Yeah. And you're like the ambassador to every other season of Survivor. So you have 32 seasons resting on your shoulders here.
Uh-oh.
So let's kick it off with the all important question here is that we have 4 co-wrongers coming back called Game Changers. And I don't know if they asked you or not. I know you're busy with college. But do you think that you are a game changer? I mean, I would say so, but we're asking you.
I mean, this is the thing. I think that everyone is a game changer in their own way, which is why I'm not really totally sold on this theme. I think overall they tried to pull off an all-stars type thing, and it just didn't really pull through. That's like my opinion on it. Because I think it should have been like game changers versus characters or something like that, because you have some people on this cast who are awesome characters, but would I consider them game changers? Not necessarily. I don't look at them and I'm like, wow, that strategy, or wow, you really paved the way for that kind of person. So I don't know. It's a little up in the air for me. I mean, I would say it was a game changer until Will came in, Millennials Gen X, and with the record for youngest person. Not salty, no.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
It didn't last too long, that record. But you paved the way. You paved the way for him now. Yeah.
So am I a game changer then?
Of course. I mean, it's not like you voted out your mom or anything like that. But, we tend to see kind of younger females not be in a position to flip and like play aggressively, and that's something you did. So I would say you are a game changer.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks. I just recently watched the episode where you jump over to the Sarge, Scott, and Ty, where you jump with them, and I was like, that's kind of changed. Could it really change the game of Kaoh? Probably did change the game, because then Debbie goes. So a little bit of game changing going on there, more than some of the people. We don't have to mention names, but we're going to go through all of them. And if you want to call them out on being less of a game changer than you, by all means.
Okay. That can be a question for each person, game changer or not, according to Julia, who's played the game.
Okay. I'm going to get some backlash for this, but no, I'm down.
That's what we want.
As long as you spin it so you're giving them the character. So they're not game changers, but they were a really great character. I think that you covered your base already with that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
and I think if we're gonna jump into this and really get going, we probably should start on the Nuku tribe with 2 people that I think we would all classify as characters. But this needs to be the start of the podcast, because Will, I think it was you and Alexa, called this 100% as an alliance that was going to happen.
Hold on. Look who's here. You gotta say hi.
Hi.
No way.
Oh my God,
man.
Hi guys.
Oh no.
That is wow.
Oh,
I'm shocked right now. Hello, Michelle.
Oh boy.
We live together, so.
No way, Michelle.
I heard you talking. I was like, you must be. Hi.
I was like your biggest fan, I think, of all time.
And we defend your win 100%. And we couldn't.
We don't talk about it every day. No.
Yeah.
I know. I defended you from day one.
Yeah.
I said you were gonna win, and this is insane.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, I'll stop back in. Have fun. I'm watching Anthony Bourdain, so.
Okay.
Well, enjoy that.
Bye. Don't talk too much shit.
I was actually just gonna talk.
It won't be about you. Yeah.
It's all gonna be about you. So. Thanks, man. I like your leggings.
Wow.
So that's the second winner we've had now. That's crazy.
So if you want to know, Julie, I don't know if you actually are looking at the YouTube chat here.
I'm not.
But it says Michelle with a bunch of exclamation points, Michelle with a bunch of exclamation points, Michelle with a bunch of exclamation points. Then how is Phil keeping his cool? And Phil just died and went to heaven. I don't know if you watched us during your season at all or saw any of our videos from your season. But Michelle was my game-winning pick from day one because I'm also from New Jersey and around the same area as her. So I was like, there's no way she can't win. And I think that entire season I took so much crap saying she was going to win the whole time. And then she won. So like you're like Santa Claus right now. That was incredible.
That was pretty cool.
We started living together I think 2 months ago now. She works in Boston, and my roommate went abroad, so it just happened to work out perfectly. She got hired at the same time my roommate left. So now we're roommates, and we spend a lot of time together.
Wow. That was awesome.
That's a Survivor love story. Remember when that thing was going on Reddit and they're Survivor couples never last, or what was it? Something like that? Yeah, it's me and Michelle.
But you guys lasted.
Yeah,
you overcame.
We overcame.
Well, it's only been 2 months, so we don't want to get too far.
Well, I mean, technically it's been this point 2.5 years or something, or 2 years since we filmed.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm old now. I'm not that old, but
Oh God, yeah. Oh no, you hit 21. You're so old. Wow. Okay. So now I'm taking it back.
We have to see if we can recover from that. I mean,
I don't think I can.
We're ready to go, and I don't know if Phil's going to be able to do the rest of this podcast. I might have to take over.
Well,
man,
it's I'm just it's funny because my quick side note. This has to be told now because Michelle just walked by, but my ex-girlfriend works at the Starbucks in Austin. And said that you guys would go in all the time, but always when she wasn't there.
Shut the fuck up. Sorry. Can I not
No,
say
you're good.
here?
You can say that because I'm just as shocked.
Okay. No, that's so funny because one day I went into that Starbucks with Aubry, and it was it must have been actually right few months, maybe a month after she got back from Fiji, and we went to go get, grab coffee, and we're just okay. First of all, we only get recognized. Me and Michelle only get recognized when we are straight bumming it, going out in our pajamas, no makeup on. That's the only time we ever get recognized. And but Aubry and I went out to get coffee, and the girl at the Starbucks was like, "Hey, are you Julia from Survivor?" Freaking out, and I always think it's so cute because I personally don't think it's a big deal. To me, it's I'm just me. But when people are fans, I'm oh my God, that's the sweetest thing ever. You're so sweet. And she was freaking out, so cute. And then Aubry came up because she was looking at water bottles or something, came up after it, and the girl freaked out even more. It was so funny. But yeah, it was great. I know.
I think I know who you're talking about because I think my ex-girlfriend told me all about that moment because she wasn't there and she was furious that she wasn't there.
So funny.
Oh wow. That's funny. All right. Well, I guess we can talk game changers now that
we'll try to.
We'll go back.
I don't know. My whole the podcast can't go any higher now. But all right, so what I was going to say is let's start on the Nuku tribe with what Alexa and Will called. I don't think I said it, but Alexa and Will called it in our fantasy draft game. We got to start with Brad Culpepper and Debbie. And this is they both said they want to work together in their little cast assessment videos. And Julia, Debbie.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to give us some insight into how that's going to work or even just how Debbie's going to work overall.
Let's see.
Is Debbie a game changer?
I think Debbie, you know what? Debbie is a character. And maybe her character is what changed the game because there actually has not been a character like Debbie ever before, I think. She's really out there, and honestly Debbie is really truly a wonderful person. She is nutty and crazy, but that's her. And yeah, I would say Debbie on the island, I didn't have I guess she thought we had a better relationship than I did when we were out there, and she was definitely supporting me 100%. I kind of thought she was full of it because she was so tight with Aubry at the time, and Aubry and I just didn't get along on the island. And then when we got to Ponderosa, Debbie and I kind of became roommates because we were the only two girls on the jury until Sid got there. And so we had a lot of fun at Ponderosa, and she's very like has a lot of like nuggets of wisdom, and she's had a lot of cool experiences, and but she is a character, and I don't know how her strategy is. I didn't really work with her from a strategic point, and like the Debbie vote, when we voted Debbie off, she was completely aloof, like had no idea that was going to happen. And we said like something that got cut, I think, from the show was that we literally whispered down the line to each other, like, vote Debbie, vote Debbie, vote Debbie. We skipped over Debbie, and Jeff goes, Debbie, they skipped over you. Are you at all worried about that? And she was like, nah, like, I'm fine. And then Debbie went home. So, I mean, she brings a lot to the show in terms of, like, personality and, like, fun and character development. But it'll be interesting to see if she brings more strategy this time, I think.
Yeah, she seemed really trusting of everybody. And I remember, I mean, it was kind of the reason she got voted out. Aubry was very worried about you because you were kind of hanging out with the Braun people. And she was just like, no, Julie and I are good. I think, would you say if she steps up her game and is kind of more alert and more willing to kind of not trust people, does she have a chance to really go far and maybe potentially win?
Yeah, maybe. I think it totally depends on who she aligns with this time. You know, I really do. I think Aubry was almost like too like strategically intelligent for Debbie. Like, she needs to have someone who meshes with her a little bit better, like on the same level.
Potentially Brad.
Yeah, potentially Brad. Maybe that's why. Maybe like they're both a little nutty, and we'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, Debbie was also trying in your season. She was saying how great looking Nick was. And like at first she's working with Joe, but then she's also talking about how like Peter looks really good. So it seems like she goes for the bigger, hunkier men. And I mean, she said in her thing she wants to work with Brad and Tony.
Yeah, what do you think? Is she
like
Debbie? She was a model, so you know.
She was a lot of things.
She lives that life.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess like with Brad, I mean, could Brad and Debbie actually work together?
I don't think Brad, like from what I have seen of Brad, I have never personally met Brad, but what I've seen, I just don't think after spending like 24 hours with Debbie, he would have the patience.
Gotcha.
That's just like my general opinion. Like Debbie is great, but you have to like really, you know, be engaged and listen to her. And like Brad just doesn't seem like that type.
That's fair. I mean, I see exactly what you're saying. What was the relationship between Ty and Debbie like? Because they're the two co-wrongers on that Nuku tribe. There was that one big conversation where Debbie's like, "You are in our alliance now. Like, shake my hand." Did anything happen after, or
they're together on the same?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't know the tribe, so now I'm like, okay, but I'm so behind. I'm like, I need to catch up.
We'll help you out.
We can send you a link too if you want it. So that if you want to look. But
yeah, I think that Debbie. Okay, so obviously Debbie and Ty didn't start off on the same tribe, and then when we did the swap, they weren't on the same tribe, so they were only together during the merge, and they didn't have a lot of interaction. I know Debbie wanted to work with Ty. I remember that scene, but like from there on out, I really just don't think anything else ever really happened with that. Ty was pretty set at that point while Debbie was still in the game with Scott and Jason, and Debbie despises still to this day, I'm pretty sure, Scott and Jason. So I think she kind of like rid him off right after that, after she kind of like vibed it out that he wasn't really like working with her. And I think Ty thinks Debbie is nutty. Like I think he thinks that she's crazy. So they definitely will not. I don't think they'll be working together. I don't even think they'll really interact.
But do you think they'll go like actively against each other? Like, because it seems like Debbie would go after Aubry, but do you think she'd go after Ty?
Yeah, I think she would go after Aubry, but I don't think she'd go after Ty. Ty's also like someone you don't want to go after right in the beginning, because he truly is like, the show made him out to be this like amazing provider, and he is an amazing provider. He does so much for the tribe. He puts in more work than anyone, and he's someone you want around in the beginning.
Is Ty a game changer?
See, like Ty is the other one I think is a character as well. I mean, maybe Ty is a game changer in the fact that he was so in terms of providing, one of probably the best providers Survivor's ever seen, and like was so kind throughout the entire game, even when, you know, he was blindsiding, I guess, Scott, and then turned on Jason too. What we really didn't see is like his constant apologies and all that kind of stuff. He really tried to like play with his heart, and maybe that's something that he changed the game. He got to the end playing with his heart, and he still didn't win. But I think Ty's character, and he was like, if there was a fan favorite for my season, it would have easily been Ty. So I think Ty's more of a character than a game changer.
And Sia took care of the fan favorite, right?
Yeah, right.
Did that for us.
We now have this running joke, like every time Sia goes on concerts, we all like text each other. We're like, should we go? Should we go to a Sia concert? I never even really listened to Sia before that. Now I was like, it was so funny because she was in the green room the finale night with us, and like she knew who we all were, and like she like came up to me and was like, hi, it's so nice to meet you, and I was like, and it like was not registering, like not registering. I was like, oh, okay.
Did she show you her face?
Yeah, her face was out.
Wow.
Her face was out.
So yeah, it was quite interesting. But she's
that's great.
Super nice.
Can Ty win in a season like this? I mean, we saw him play and get to the end. Can he win?
You know what? I think that this season is full of really, really cutthroat people. You have some really like aggressive, and I think like some, I hate to say it, but like some genuinely mean people, which I'm sure we'll get to later on. And I don't think Ty is going to thrive in that kind of environment. Like he's going to be eaten alive by a lot of these like characters. You have like Tonys, and you have like Brad Culpeppers, and like, you know what I mean? I just don't see it really working out. He's too kind. Like he's too much of like a good person. So
all right. So there we have your answer. Ty's not going to win.
He's more of a character, leaning more towards character than game changer.
Who knows? He could. You never know, but I don't know.
Just one more question on Ty, and I'm sure he'll come up later. You were at his, final tribal council. Did him articulating his game have any influence on you or the jury's vote, or was it like, okay, you knew you're going to vote for Michelle because you guys really bonded out there, but did you understand Ty's game and you're like, I understand what you did, I'm still not going to vote for you, or did you have a hard time even understanding it because of how he delivered his speech?
Tribal was really, really difficult. It took obviously so much longer than you see on TV. We were there for hours and hours and hours, and Ty at that point was like physically exhausted, just like mentally drained, and like getting his words out. First of all, Ty's hard to understand like regularly, and like so at that point in the game it was just like word vomit. Like you really couldn't get a clear sentence, and so it wasn't even that he like had trouble like articulating his moves. He even had articulating his words like at that point. But I did consider voting for Ty. I thought about it a lot, but my perspective was like, do you go? I feel like once it kind of got to the Scott vote, he just was flippy floppy all over the place and didn't have any structure to his game, and kind of was just, he had no plan, no strategy, and it was kind of like sporadic from my perspective, and I think from Scott and Jason's perspective, and probably even Sydney and Debbie's perspective too. And so the way I talked about it at Final Tribal, which I think a lot of it got cut, but it was like, do you vote for someone whose game was consistent throughout? They were a strong competitor in challenges. They were a huge provider on camp. They were kind. And then at the end kind of deteriorated. Or do you vote for someone like Michelle, who was kind of like, on the back burner in the beginning, and then towards the end just like succeeded? And he couldn't answer that question the way I wanted it to be answered. So I just was like, I'm not voting for Ty. And I think everyone, when they asked Ty questions, felt that way. Like he just couldn't articulate what he was trying to say. Interesting.
Now, I know you had mentioned that he would get eaten up by some of these more vicious and meaner players, but what about Scott and Jason? Because that was his tightest alliance in yours. How are Scott and Jason?
I love Scott and Jason. Okay. Like, I know people have given me tons of shit about that because people love to hate the villain, and I think it's easy to target Scott and Jason as villains because they're these huge tattooed bearded like guys, like obviously, and they're on Braun. Like production basically gave them like a platform to be the bully, in so many ways, giving them that title. Like just as like they gave us the platform, which we could have easily taken Michelle, Anna, and I to be ditzy, like if we wanted to. It's a lot of it goes with the theme, and I think they're an easy target. And what I think people always have to remember is bullying is always, because they got so much backlash for bullying, and bullying is always two-sided. Obviously, Scott and Jason are grown men. They have families at home. They have children. They're not going to pick on someone unless someone is doing something for them to want to pick on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to just like bully you for no reason. You obviously have to irritate them in some way or be obnoxious or like do something for them to like fight back. Like, do I agree with all of their actions on the show? No, especially, you know, the water sabotage, pouring water on the fire thing. That was obviously a moment that like, I know that they, even though they don't admit it, they can be like a little bit embarrassed about, because you can't, like, you get to that point in the game and you just say things and do things and you don't really think it through. But overall, I love Scott and Jason, and people always are like, why did I, out of, you know, a lot of the other people, connect with them compared to, you know, I think Michelle had a better relationship with Sydney and Joe, and I had a better relationship with like Scott and Jason. And I think it is truly because they have daughters, and like I was that figure out there for them, and they were like a father figure out there for me, because I needed like that kind of parental figure, and they gave that to me. And I'm still really good friends with them both. Scott's actually coming to visit us in Boston like in March, so we're super excited, and I truly do. I love them. So and that's why Ty got along with them, because they do have a softer side.
That's good.
Awesome.
That's good. I love hearing that, because we really like Scott and Jason as well, and we were very adamant about like, guys, this isn't necessarily bullying and all of that, and like it's good to hear that like they are good people. They just are on TV.
Yeah, people
exactly.
throwing them in the same boat with like Will from Worlds Apart, and I saw it a completely different way, and was like, they're living 24/7 with this girl who probably shouldn't have even been on the Braun tribe, and things, you know, happen out there. So yeah, I'm glad.
Right.
Everything's cool.
And it's like Alicia is so, I know, like, I'm just going to say it because it's like out there already. Like, Alicia is such a nice person, but like, obviously if Alicia and Scott and Jason don't get along, Alicia is fiery and she's going to fight back. So are Scott and Jason, you know, and you're not on the Braun tribe if you're not fiery like that. And if their personalities don't align, it's going to be a butting head situation. And of course it's easier to target Scott and Jason as the bad guys, because like, look at them, you know, it's like you can't put Alicia as the villain against people that look like Scott and Jason, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's 2-on-1. So it's
right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over to somebody else on this Nuku tribe. And we can kind of talk about if you think they'll work well with Debbie or Ty, since you know both of them, and I don't know who else you know here. But did you say if Brad Culpepper was a character or a game changer? Did we touch on that?
Oh, I didn't say that yet.
Oh, well, what is it? What's the answer here, Julia?
Oh, this is a hard one. I don't know, like, is anyone a game changer? My God, no.
Because I know you're thinking character for this one, because he is such a character. So I mean,
I'm thinking character too. Yeah. Like, I really am. Yeah.
It's okay. You can say character for everyone if you want.
One of our commenters, I forget who, but they said Brad was the first one to use the vote out someone on your tribe to kind of get in the head of someone on the other tribe, because it was blood versus water, and that was the first blood versus water season. So kind of changed the game and thinking about, you know, voting out based on who's on the other tribe. So if you really want to, you know, if you need something to stretch out and get more game changers, then maybe use that one.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, I think like you could stretch it for any of these people, you know, and I think that's what they did, honestly. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see Brad. I think, like, from what I pick up, like, he has an ego, which, you know, I don't know him personally, and I'm sure he's, like, a nice dude. But, like, that people with big personalities sometimes can either draw a lot of attention on the island, and, like, you know, other people can fall into the back burner easily, which is great for some people, and it can also be a target, depending on if people like that big personality or not, and if people vibe with it, and if you're funny, and if it's all in good fun, or if it's like vicious. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm really not sure about Brad.
I don't think anybody is.
Yeah, we didn't even get to see that much of him either. So
yeah. It's interesting that, I don't know, it's an interesting casting choice, but whatever. They know what they're doing.
I don't know. Is there like a logical order to who we're jumping to? I know we did it pretty well last season.
I don't think there's any logical order. I will say we do have Ozzy on this tribe, and you were talking about Ty as a provider, and Ozzy's also a very good provider. So they might not need both of them. They might butt heads over who can provide better. What's your take on Ozzy coming back for a fourth time and fitting in with Debbie and Ty?
I mean, I love Ozzy. When I think of like Survivor, I think of like Ozzy is one of those people. So I'm really excited to see him. I think he'll be a huge target right off the bat. Like, who wouldn't want to get rid of him right away? People know what he's capable of at this point. And yeah, I think it could end up being a power struggle between Ozzy and Ty. I know what we struggled with Ty right off the bat was, granted, like on the beauty tribe, we were all really young besides, like, I mean, we were 18 to like 30. So we were all in the 20 range besides Ty, who was much older. And so he would not like talk down to us, but try and teach us things. And it kind of got annoying to us at certain points. I don't think Ozzy's that kind of provider. I think he just does it and doesn't really like expect you to learn from it or like want to teach you anything. He's just doing it because he enjoys doing it. And so does Ty, but Ty likes to do it his way. So I could see them like butting heads a little bit in the provider element. But I love Ozzy and I'm so excited. So cute.
Do you think the fact that he's lost 3 times, is that going to make him less of a threat? Is that going to maybe – no. Okay.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, he's lost all 3 times, I think, for, like, good reason, because he is a threat, you know, and he kills those challenges. And I think that there's some strong personalities out there that people might be more so targeting those before even, like, the physical stuff. I don't know. It'll be interesting. And you want Ozzy on your tribe in the beginning, obviously, because he's going to kill it. So
I'm going to close my window real quick because I forgot to do that. And there's dogs and planes that just keep going over. So I'll be back in 2 seconds. Will, continue.
Of course. Okay. Well, we will. All right. Well, I didn't ask you this. Is Ozzy a game changer?
Yeah, I think Ozzy's a game changer.
Okay. That's our first game changer. We're now, I guess, one for 4. So, yeah. Okay. Phil, if you missed it, but Ozzy is a game changer. So
wow, we finally got one.
Yeah.
I think that definitely counts. I mean, everyone knows Ozzy. Like, he's an iconic Survivor player. I think he's a game changer.
Okay. And how are him and Debbie? Any chance that they get along?
No. I mean, I think Ozzy will, though, like, unlike Brad Culpepper, I could see Ozzy, like, tolerating Debbie. I, like, kind of get this, like, more, like, hippie, like, relaxed vibe from Ozzy, and I think he'll have a better time, like, having patience, you know? So.
Yeah, and this is Ozzy's 4th time out. I think he's learned by now that you got to try to get along with as many people as possible, right. So he'll be more just ready to do that. Right. So.
Absolutely.
And speaking of people who made sure Ozzy lost, we can jump to Suri because, you know, she's one of the main reasons Ozzy got absolutely like blindsided in Fans vs. Favorites. Where do you stand on Suri?
I love Suri.
Okay.
I'm so like, why? Do you not like Suri?
No, I was going to say if she gets listed as a character, Julia, then we might have to have a talk.
No. Suri is definitely a game changer. Definitely. See, like, I don't know. Maybe it's more of these, like, we haven't had it. Well, I will get into it because I actually was going to, never mind. I have a thought later on. So, no, but Suri is definitely a game changer. I love Suri. I'm so excited to see Suri play. I remember, like, Suri is one of those people that when, like, I was a little kid watching the show, I remembered, like, so clearly. And, I'm so excited. It'll be interesting, but I can't wait.
Yeah, we hope she actually does well this season because I know, like, with Heroes versus Villains, she got into so much trouble so early because, you know, she's still nervous about Ozzy and JT, she said, but she wants to work with, like, Brad and Ty. So she's bringing up Ty and Brad. Like,
see, I think could see Suri and Ty. Mm-hmm. Like, I could definitely see that. Ty, I think, Aubry to her has like an innate like warmness, and sometimes it takes people to warm up, but like Ty eventually did it. Like Ty and Aubry, like got together. And I think Suri is kind of the same thing. I think Suri is like a very like motherly figure, so Ty could be definitely attracted to that. That would be a really cool combo, actually.
That would be a cool combo, and it makes so much sense for them to like get along.
It'd be entertaining.
I feel like Suri, once again, like she says she wants to work with Ty, but like I feel like going with Ty could almost be going back to her Panama days where like she ends up with somebody who's so all over the place and she's like, why is this happening to me? Like
I also think though, like Suri could like not control Ty, but definitely like sway him. I think she has that power.
Yeah,
she's a smart one.
Like Aubry was kind of doing that by the end of your season, and I could totally see Suri having Ty around her finger.
Ooh,
yeah. All right, so then JT, who booted Suri. I mean,
there you go. Nice segue.
I'm trying. I think I can do the rest of the cast. I just couldn't do it at the beginning after.
No, we're good now. Now we're in the middle of it.
Now we're rolling. So JT, what's your feeling on JT? Because we've talked about JT a lot because we talk about Tokensheens a lot.
Yeah.
But what's your feeling on JT?
I like him. I'm excited to see. I think both of it, like obviously both of his games are different. I'm excited to see what he brings this time with this group of people. I'm not really sure. I don't really have a vibe. Like normally I can like kind of get a vibe of where I think people are going to like land. I just like really don't see it. I don't see like, I can't figure out who he's going to work with. Like obviously like Caleb's not on this tribe, right? So I mean that would be kind of a funny combo, but
it would bro down country style.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm thinking of it, because it's like country. What do you guys think of JT? Did he say anything in like pre-interviews that was like important? I should have probably watched them, but
no, it's totally fine. I watched them like right before.
No, this is better. This is pure unadulterated, Julia's thoughts.
Yeah.
I can see JT working with Debbie just because I think Debbie will, I don't know, kind of gravitate towards JT and his good old country boy heart.
Oh man.
No. Does Debbie have a chance to work with anybody, Julia? Come on.
Oh no. Like
poor Debbie.
Oh no, I love Debbie though. Oh man. I don't know, maybe.
A soft maybe on whether Debbie can work with anybody.
I could see like I could see maybe Ty and JT, maybe.
Kind of like, because Caleb and JT, they really got along, and if we're drawing a comparison between Caleb and JT, there you go.
Yeah. So
is JT a game changer?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, now we're rolling here with these game changers.
Of course, it's like all these like players from way back that I'm like, yeah, game changer. The more recent people.
Well, now we're
my
really
friends are like, nah.
But you consider yourself a game changer, so there's at least one.
Okay.
So now we're really gonna test you here, whether someone's a game changer or not. And we have JT, who's the rancher, but we have a barrel racer on this tribe, Sierra Dawn Thomas.
Oh.
This might be tough for you to really put her into one of these categories that character game changer. What do you think on Sierra Dawn Thomas?
Okay, first off, I
this
love
should be your
Sierra.
spot, huh?
Hey. No, I love Sierra. I think that I met her for the first time in person this fall. She was awesome. She like really is just like such a kind person, and I see meeting her in person why I think she was put on this cast. And like if you look at her game, like people remember her for like making whatever Final Five and like being gone because everyone liked her. And I mean that's happened in the past. Maybe it's because it's more recent that she was brought back. And I mean the Dirty 30 I think is like a powerful cast in terms of like the way Survivor has kind of shifted. So I think she's memorable for that. And I think she has a lot more to bring to the table. I think Sierra is like me in a lot of ways, where you go out there and you test out the waters, but like part of you is kind of like, oh my God, I'm on Survivor. This is not real. Like you can't even like think straight yet. And then eventually, like towards the very tail end of your game, you finally get into it and you're like so into it and you want to play, and then you're gone. And so I think that she had like that kind of trajectory. And so I think that there's definitely a possibility she could bring a lot to the table. I actually like really hope that she does well, and kind of like proves everyone on the internet who's like giving her so much shit wrong. Because she really is such a nice person. And I want her to do well.
When the cast photos came out, everybody was just like, yeah, she owned everything. Like all of a sudden, like the tides turned and everybody liked her because they were like, oh, her cast photos were the best by far. So hopefully her game
was bomb. So good. I mean, but she is like a model or something, so they should be good, right? Maybe that's why she's a ginger. Maybe her and Debbie will connect. Right? Maybe her and Debbie will connect on talk about their modeling.
Maybe. I mean, and I think Debbie can connect with everybody on this tribe, and that's why I'm confused by you, because she's done all of their jobs.
You know what? That's why Debbie's a game changer, because she can connect with everyone because she's done all their jobs.
Yeah, exactly. She's been a rancher and
there we go. Now you're really
an NFL quarterback.
You're getting the hang of spinning everybody into a game changer.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Well, what about Sierra then? Where's she fit? I know you like her, so you don't have to be, you can.
But this is the thing, is like, I definitely don't think she's a character. So I would put her in the game changer category, even though I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash and I know people disagree. But she's definitely, in her own way, in a way that you don't necessarily like think. I wouldn't think like right off the bat, yeah, Sierra's game changer. But when you put it in like perspective, you have like lots of different kinds of game changers, and you have like the more aggressive players who are on like the forefront of your screen who like have done these crazy moves. And maybe that's why Sierra's not, because that's not what she's known for.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying. And I mean, she got 5th place and was really close to winning that season, I believe. If she gets to the end, sitting there with, Will and even Caroline, I think she has a good
I think she would have won if she was sitting there with Will and Caroline. I think if she was sitting there with Rodney, she probably would have won.
Whoa, I don't know about that one.
I love Rodney too, but I mean,
no, we talk.
You don't love him as much as Will does.
I'm someone I've heard from like interviews and a lot of people saying that he really could have won the game, and he might.
He's told me that too. But don't we all say that though? Like if I was in Final 3, I could have won.
Yeah, right. That's true, right? You 100% would have won.
That's what I mean. I like to say that. Who knows? You never know until that night. You really never know.
Mm-hmm.
But
right. But if the night never comes, you can always say for sure you would have won.
Right. And but I also think though that if Sierra was actually in the Final 3, she probably would have won. And I think that's maybe why she's a game changer, because she's so off people's radar, and suddenly you're at Final 5 and you're like, holy shit, Sierra's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's why. It's like that she played one of the best like under the radar games that's out there.
And maybe she paved the way for someone to come later.
Yeah.
Maybe someone like Michelle.
Maybe.
A little bit.
Maybe. We'll get into it. Well, don't worry. We're saving Michelle because I know we're gonna have questions for you at the end. And like, I have a novel that I could ask about why Michelle won and how. So we'll get there. Yeah, we'll save that up. But so I guess, Will, what's your next logical person to jump to from Sierra?
Well, I think we have Sierra, and then you jump just to Sarah because they sound so similar. So how about Sarah from Cagayan? That's the best I could do. I didn't have one planned.
When I watched Cagayan, which is so funny because I was so excited when we found out that our theme was, well, actually I wasn't. First I was a little bit scared, but when I found out what our theme was, Brains, Bonds, Beauty, I was like stoked because I love that cast. Like I love the Cagayan cast. I think it's one of probably the best casts in the last, I don't know, what is it now, like 6 years, something. It's sooner than that, I guess. But yeah, and I loved Sarah during that season. I was bummed her when she was gone, actually. I was like definitely rooting for her. Now, when you put her in this whole cast, am I rooting for her? And like, I've never met her. She's not really like active in the, like, I guess until game changers. She wasn't really active in the Survivor community, and I think because like we're like Michelle and I are like fresh off our season, we go to a lot of the things and we meet a lot of the people. So I've never really like met anyone who really like knows her that well. So I don't know that much about her. But she was playing like a strong game back in Cagayan, and she has good intuition. So she could make it far. Who knows?
Yeah. She was my preseason winner pick, and what just destroyed her is Tony just completely like ran circles around her. I think if she didn't have Tony on that season, she very well could have won. But Tony just messed with her head so much that she had no shot.
No, yeah.
That could happen again. I mean, she's stuck with
Tony's not on her tribe though to start, right?
No.
Thank God
it would be so dope if she like comes up with some badass plan, they make the merge and she gets rid of Tony. I would love that.
I'm getting like Jerry Coach vibes from All Stars, where like Jerry's whole goal was just to get rid of Colby, where her only goal is like get rid of Colby and then she goes next. Like I'm getting that vibe here, where like Sarah's gonna put so much effort into getting rid of Tony and getting the revenge, and then she'll be the next.
Yeah.
So we have a potential Sarah Ty alliance. I really can't picture it.
No.
That's not happening.
If that happens, like, I don't know. Like, I will like give you guys $5. I seriously, I
what are we at? 250 to 1, 25 to 1.
But I seriously just don't see it happening. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I don't think also in Cagayan, I don't think we got enough of Sarah's like personality. We got more of her strategic side. And Ty is one of those, like, once again, Ty is like a character. So they're different in terms of like the way that they're edited and the way they're portrayed. And so like in real life, they could get along, but like from what we've seen on their seasons, I don't see it at all.
Yeah, and Debbie, Sarah.
No.
Yeah, it's a poor Debbie.
Like that's a harder no than the Ty Sarah.
Okay, well, Debbie might Sarah might find herself on the outs because if
you know what, now I'm seeing this Brad Debbie thing. It's coming through. Like the more people we go through, the more that makes sense to me.
I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. And they both said in their pregame that they want to work with each other.
There you go.
But yeah, who knows how much they can put up with one another.
Yeah. True.
So is Sarah a game changer?
I think so. I think Sarah's more of a game changer than if you're putting it like game changer versus character and like there's no in between, then she's a game changer.
We're gonna find you the like not supposed to be cast and we're gonna let you say
That's so mean though.
I know.
Because like this is the thing, I think that if I was put on this season, people would be like people would say I'm definitely not a game changer, and people would definitely say I'm not.
I disagree.
No, I disagree.
I really disagree.
I'm not just saying this because we have you on. If you compared to like the rest of this cast, which is game changers, I think you would rank in the top half of game changers. I mean, obviously you have like Tony,
Sandra,
but I think you would be in the top half.
I really believe that too. I honestly think, and I love Michelle, but I think if Michelle was on there, it'd be more of a question. But if you were on there, people saw you play, and you were like one of the people we talked about a lot in our podcast because of, well, first of all, we had a guy who just would always ask Julia questions the whole time. But then other than that, like you were out there, and we always said like normally the 19-year-old girl comes out and does nothing. Like they try to get to the end and really just.
Well, that's what the 19-year-old does. Julia's the 18-year-old.
That's right. Julia was the 18. So she set the tone and was like, "No, I'm going to make moves and I'm going to try to make my way to the end." So we did actually talk about you a lot because, not for nothing, I mean, you were the first 18-year-old I think to play the game, but to actually play the game, you were definitely the first you played the game. So
I tried, but it's just like these people like. Okay, well, that makes me feel a little bit better about what I was saying before. But, like, in retrospect, like, there definitely would be people that would question. Just like I'm sure there's people that are questioning the people that we automatically assume, like Ozzy and Sandra, and like are actually game changers. Caleb, if anyone saw that tweet that went around.
That was hilarious. Oh, we'll get into Caleb.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But, so... I don't know. Sarah, I think Sarah is this is the thing too. Maybe she's not a game changer, but she's definitely someone who deserves to have a second shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to put that.
That's like the third.
That's like the third.
Gotcha.
And like, I think.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Well, I just want to say before we jump to our next person, I want to correct Phil. I think Michelle is a game changer. So I just wanted to, clear.
Oh my God! Do I think Michelle's a game changer? I absolutely think Michelle's a game changer.
I don't know what.
But let's go and look at what our comments would say about that. And I think people would really question why they would put her onto game changer, because I mean, nobody can get over the fact that she beat Aubry. Like nobody can get over it.
A good amount of people have gotten over. We were the first ever to get over it.
Because we never had to get over anything. Right. I was ecstatic.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll get into that. I guess
we will.
All right. So Sarah played pretty recently. Someone else played really recently, Zeke, who is coming fresh off, Millennials versus Gen X. Is that going to help him? Is that going to hurt him? How is he going to fit in here?
Oh my God. Well, I think that I give mad props to anyone who can play back-to-back seasons. It's really hard. Like, I always tell people that the best experience of my life was actually on the island. I felt as difficult as the game is, I felt like very free, and like I really found out who I truly was and had like truly like the best experience of my life. Watching it, on the other hand, is like a completely different story, and it's hard. It's really hard because not only do you not see the episodes in advance, but then you deal with what people are saying online if you're into that. And of course, like I'm into that. I'm a millennial, and I'm sure Zeke is into that and whatever. But so I give mad props to anyone who can play back-to-back seasons. Plus what your body goes through physically is just like insane. The recovery process is like not easy either. So props to Zeke. Do I think he's a game changer? I think he's a character. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited to see him play again, but I think that the back-to-back season thing might hurt him. I think he might go into the game a little too in his head, because I think that's what can happen when you play back-to-back. So it'll be fun to watch him though. I find him like a really fun character to watch. I really did like watching him in Millennials versus Gen X. I think he was like he definitely was one of those characters. Millennials vs. Gen X had a great cast overall, but like whereas like everyone was kind of like neutral, whereas Kaoh, I think you had more distinct characters. And so I think Zeke was like a distinct character in Millennials vs. Gen X, which is, why he's back.
Yeah, because there was a lot of hype around Zeke coming out, and like you said, the online community was pretty disappointed, I actually think, in Zeke because of how much Jeff hyped him up as being like this crazy. I think he tried to be a game changer, but never actually hit the point of game changer because he got blindsided by the real game changer of that season, in my opinion, which is David. Mm-hmm. I think David was the real, like if they were going to say game changer, I would say
Adam.
David.
Why is it?
Oh, of course you would, Will.
I love Adam. He's so nice. He's great. But no, that's funny. I didn't even think that David's not on this season. What is up with that? Maybe they're saving him for something else. Who knows?
I think he's kind of saving himself a little bit
too.
Yeah,
he was. I mean, if you were looking at David, he was skinny going in there, but he was even like skinnier. I don't know if his body could have handled doing a back-to-back season. That was like, was it Courtney? Courtney turned it down too because they asked her to come back for Fans vs. Favorites, and she said no because she weighed like 80 pounds at the time and was like, I'm going to die.
Yeah. No, it's serious. Like the physical toll it puts on your body is absurd. Like it took my body probably like 7 months to fully recover from Survivor.
Did your legs ever recover? Because you like got destroyed by bugs.
Bug bites. I still have some scars, but most of them are gone. My legs were worse than anyone's out there. I don't care what anyone else says. Like people will argue that like Anna's were worse at one point. No. My legs were so bad. Like I didn't have
Anna, she went before the merge. Yeah.
I know. She was eaten alive though, but like and I was in shorts. Like most people had like Michelle had pants, like a lot of people had pants, but like I was in short shorts too. So like that didn't help. But no. I was lucky that I didn't have any injuries, but my freaking bug bites were the worst. And I still have scars, but what came out for me afterwards was like I think within like a month and my tan started to fade because at Ponderosa I got even tanner because I'd like bathe myself in tanning oil, which like I know people are gonna be like, that's so unsafe. So I know, don't worry. But like I got back and I had sun poisoning all over my back, and it was there for 3 months. Like it was absurd. Like it took forever to get rid of. And I had to go on antibiotics. It was a nightmare. But yeah. So my skin definitely took a toll.
But you would play again.
Yeah. Oh my God, absolutely. But playing back to back, like going through all that like recovery process and then like starting to recover and then just going back and doing it again would be really hard for me to do. And I think a lot of people would say that.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we hit Zeke. Last person on that tribe is my personal favorite, unfavorite of favorites. I don't even know what.
Well, you didn't let me do the segue. I had a good one here.
Go then do it. I just love talking about Andrea, but go ahead. What's your segue?
It's the two people who played in Survivor Brooklyn, which I really don't know anything about, but I keep seeing online that Zeke and Andrea, they are friends in real life before this season aired or filmed. So they could have an alliance, but yeah, that's the segue. What are your thoughts on Andrea coming back for a third time?
They could definitely, that could be an alliance. They're both New Yorkers, I think, at this point. I think Zeke moved to New York recently. But I haven't met Zeke, but that's what I've heard. I am in love with Andrea. Like, I have such a girl crush on Andrea, and she totally knows it too. Like, oh my God. But no, she's the best. She's so sweet. And I definitely, like, admire her, like, in all she does in real life too, like, her job, and, like, she works so hard, and, like, that's really awesome. Like when I went through casting, they'd always like compare me to Andrea, and I would always was like, but no, I'm excited. She, I hope, does really well. She's one of those, like, if I had to pick, like, not necessarily like my like top 3 who I think will win, but like top 3 who I'd want to win, Andrea would be in there. And what else? She's great. I think that she learned a lot both for her past 2 seasons, and I think she has that in mind. And like, you know, she was young when she played first, and she is definitely like I think a very focused person, and has had a lot of time to like kind of reflect on her previous games. And she's very smart, so she'll go in knowing what she needs to do. And so hopefully she can execute it. And I hope that she gets along with the people on her tribe. It's kind of an interesting crew. So I definitely see her working with Zeke, because there's some others in there that I just don't. I'm like, I can't see Andrea and Brad Culpepper getting along, and I can't see Andrea and even like Sari and Ozzy really getting along. I see Andrea more with like Ty and more with Zeke, and maybe Andrea would get along with Debbie. Who knows? But yeah,
we found Debbie a friend.
Yeah,
it took us. She's our 10th one we're talking about too. So it's the last one. But I think Andrea's actually in a pretty good spot here, and she's not in my top 3 that I want to win, but I think she's top 3 who I think will win. I really think she's in a good spot because she's a strategic player. She's really smart. She's pretty good at the challenges, and you have all these other really big threats, and she's a good social player. I really think that this is like her best chance to go out there and win the whole thing. So
yeah, I think she's definitely set up the best she has ever been set up before, going into the season. And yeah, she's smart. She's she's amazing, like super charming, and
no Boston Rob or Philip on her tribe.
Yeah, and she has no, like, I don't think she has any real, like, distraction people either. Like, I think Andrea is one of those people who, like me, I think can get, like, caught up with someone and, like, really, like, read into them and, like, want to be their friend and, like, value that kind of, like, a more, like, personal relationship over the game. And I don't think she has anyone on her tribe who will, like, distract her from her game.
Except for maybe Debbie.
Maybe Debbie. Debbie will distract anyone from their games. Maybe that's why Debbie's a game changer. Who knows?
There you go. All right. Well, we're gonna have no one left in character by the end.
I know.
So where do you put Andrea then, as a game changer or a character?
Again, like, I guess I would put her more towards. Actually, you know what? Like, I kind of see her as both a little bit. I don't think Andrea is necessarily like a loud character, but she's definitely a character, and I think she paved the way for a lot of girls her type. Like, I think if you look at the beauty girls from Cagayan, like, in a lot of ways, she kind of paved the way for them. Like, did any of them play as good a game as Andrea? No, but like certain girls in her like kind of genre, I think Andrea paved the way for. So I think she is a character and a game changer. But again, I think she's also one of those people who is like definitely deserves another shot.
Mm-hmm. Wow, so she hits all. She hits all.
She hits all 30.
Wow.
Of course.
Wow.
It's not like I like her or anything.
Yeah, right. There you go. There's the positivity on Andrea. I'll let everybody move on if they want.
So you said that Andrea is in your top 3 for people you want to win. Mm-hmm. Where does she fall in there? I mean, we'll get to the other tribe. I'm sure Aubry might be in the mix, but where is she 1, 2, or 3?
No. Yeah, I think that Andrea has a good shot. I think she's set up really well, and if she can play that through, I think she again like is like me in the fact that like in the beginning of the game you're just going to be an asset on camp, be strong in challenges, and fly under the radar as much as you can. Especially on a tribe where you have like people like Debbie and Ty with those personalities. I think she'll, hopefully like skate her way through. And then, it's going to be that merge time. I don't think she'll be a threat like in the early merge stages, but mid merge, she'll have to like maneuver herself. Yeah.
You totally skated the question there.
Wait, what was the question?
He asked out of your top 3, where does she fall? Is she 1, 2, or 3? But my other question is too. There's 4 people from Kaoh Rong here, and you put her at 3.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh. Whoa.
Okay.
Oh. No.
She's at 5.
She's number 2. She's number 2. So like,
number 2.
I have my 1. She's my number 2.
So it's Aubry and then her.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Well, do we?
That obvious?
Kind of
Okay.
a little. Well, do we? Will is that
the Starbucks story really sold it? I think
that's the one. Yeah. Is that where we jump now? Because we got to go to mana. Do we just jump? Do we start with Aubry? And I can get like my.
There's your free segue right there.
I can get my 50 questions out of the way too. But let's talk Aubry and let's talk. Is she going to win this time if she gets to the end, and why didn't she?
Please Aubry win. Like, I am praying Aubry wins. I would love it. I would die. It would be amazing. And I'm fully 100% team Aubry.
So you got coffee with her after she was back from Fiji, and she didn't tell you anything about.
No, Aubry has been amazing. Aubry protects the integrity of this game with her life, and that's something I totally respect about her. Like, when I know when I got home, I told my family where I placed, and that was just something I had to do. You're not really supposed to do it. You sign a contract, you're not supposed to do it. But like for me, it was like therapy. Like, I needed it. Aubry is really, really good at protecting the game, protecting the integrity of the game. If I were to do it again, I would follow Aubry's footsteps and not tell a soul anything, because I think it makes it a much more fun experience to watch. And she knows I'm a fan of the game, and she I think wants me to have fun watching it too. Of course, that doesn't mean that like after every episode I'm going to text her and be like, okay, so tell me what actually happened. But yeah, she hasn't told me anything. I see her like a lot. I see her frequently, and she hasn't given me any indication of anything.
Was she skinnier?
I can't say anything. I'm not saying anything. I honestly, and that's the thing, I did not see Aubry like directly after she came home either. It was probably like a month or so in between, and a lot can change in that time, especially when, so I honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. And I'm so glad I don't, because it's going to make it so much more fun, I think, for both me and Michelle to watch it. We already made like all this Team Aubry apparel, and I'm stoked.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, now that you're told you're going to text Aubry and get all the info, now you're going to have Phil texting you asking what Aubry just told you. So watch out for that one. Just give you a heads up.
Yeah, every time. Well, okay. So I know we have to like actually talk about like her in this season, but I want to know, why'd you vote for Michelle over Aubry?
This is probably my most frequently asked question. No, but
I would think.
Yeah, Phil, get a creative question. Come on.
Oh no, I have plenty of creative questions, but we got to start so our fans know.
I think I've talked about it a little bit like before, but my main, obviously, in the moment, you vote for who you think you should win. And I stand by my decision of who I voted for no matter what. Michelle and I and Anna, even though Anna wasn't with us pre-marriage, we had a relationship that like went much deeper. It sounds so cheesy. I sound like such a cheeseball right now, but we had a relationship that we really connected as a friend group more than I ever expected to connect with anyone in Survivor, and we connected right off the bat. Like I freaking live with Michelle at this point, you know, like we were really good friends, and it was just like, it was truly like a kind of a love at first sight thing. And so we said, you know, from day 1, day 2, day 3, no matter what happens in this game, if one of us is sitting at the end, you have my vote, no matter what. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, as the game goes on, Michelle votes me out. So people are obviously like, okay, there's no way she's still going to vote for her, whatever. But I had a lot of respect for Michelle in that moment because her hands were tied. And I was going home no matter what that night. And so she went with the majority alliance to protect herself and wrote my name down. And like, I understand that because I'm a fan of the game. I get it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to hold a grudge against you, whatever. Aubry and I out on the island, we had a very hostile relationship. It stemmed from it. Sounds so bad. And it was
that she crossed out.
The crossing the name out.
I knew it.
And I didn't think, like, she claims like it was, now we make like a big joke of it. Obviously it's like a huge joke in our relationship, but like she claims, you know, it was an accident. She really didn't know what was going on like during that tribal. And now knowing her, I definitely like kind of believe that. I don't think it was an intentional, like, oh, I'm going to like cross your name out and then show it to you, like to spite you kind of thing. Like, I don't think she would do that. Now knowing her, like in the way I know her, but I took it very personally. And when we got back to camp, like what wasn't shown is like Aubry trying to apologize to me. And I was like, in my head, I was like, okay, you can say all you want, but you're full of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sorry for my language, but like I was not buying it. And I, at that point, had the numbers because I was with Scott and Ty. So I was like, bye, bish. Like, no, I'm not working with you. And I think at that point, she was kind of in the same boat. She was like, well, that bridge is burned. And from there on out, we just were not seeing, we were ships passing the night, nothing. We were never on the same team. We voted together for a few votes, but it wasn't like they were quick little blindsides that we decided on the spot. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we were planning them for a long time.
Yeah, like voting blocks before Cambodia or Millennials vs. Gen X.
Yeah.
Really game-changing stuff.
Yeah, and and so that from there on out, and then like I aligned obviously with Scott and Jason, and Scott and Aubry didn't have a very good relationship, and I think that my relationship with Michelle, and then my relationship who was with Aubry, Sydney, Joe, Ty, was threatening to Aubry because I kind of got information from their side. I was definitely in the middle at that point, but I was working with Scott and Jason, and she didn't like that. We never saw eye to eye, and she never wanted to work with us. When I was going home, I tried to like maneuver things to get rid of Ty because we all kind of thought at that point if Ty made it to the end, he would win. And she just never really wanted to work with me, even when my back was against the wall. And so I was upset, but you know, at the same time, I'm like, in Survivor, you have to be open to everything. You have to be able to like understand other people's opinions, talk to people, like see their perspective and try and play with them because it could benefit you later on if they're sitting on that jury bench and you're in the final 3. You have to be open to it. And that's exactly what happened. Like she wasn't open to it. We got to the jury bench. I'm coming into tribal. Michelle constantly has a necklace around her neck. So in my opinion, I'm like, Michelle's killing it. And then, you know, she stayed positive throughout the game. She played with her heart. She played the way that she thought she should play the game. And I promised her day 2, I'm voting for you. And that's why I voted for Michelle. And I stuck true to that promise. You know, I stuck true to what I believed in at the moment.
So it wasn't bitterness.
No.
Because everybody wants to say it's a bitter jury.
I hear that all the time. It's like Sydney even. Yeah, Sydney voted for Michelle. And
Sydney?
Yeah, and I mean, her and Aubry were very close. Do you know why? I don't know if you talked to Sydney, why Sydney ended up voting for Michelle.
Well, this is the thing too, is I think that Aubry has a strength in that she is able to create a really good, deep relationship with you. But hers is quality over quantity, where Michelle is, I'm going to make a connection with every single person, make sure every single person is my friend. Whereas Aubry is like, I'm really tight with Joe. I'm really tight with Sydney. Like, you know what I mean? And like everyone else is kind of like, there, you know what I mean? And that made a huge difference in the end because, you know, when Michelle is crying to the jury, I played with my heart, and she has a connection with everyone on the tribe. Sydney's going to be like, yeah, you're right. You did. Mm-hmm. And in the moment, it's how we felt. And so that's the other thing too, is Aubry with her game, she is so strategic that a lot of it is hidden to the other players. Like we out there I could not see Aubry's game. I could not see what she was doing. I did not see where her strategies come from. She was very like secretive, and like it's strategic. She's truly strategic, and she's sneaky, and she like played her game in a way that was blinded to everyone else. And that's strong, and that makes you a game changer. But when you're a jury, you need to be able to see what's going on. Otherwise, like you have no like leeway. We can't see your game. So we're going to vote for the person who's most obtuse at that point, like who we can see or whatever the word is. I'm like blanking on words. But so that's kind of where I was with Aubry. And then of course, when you watch the show and you see her confessionals and you see her narrating her own story, oh, it makes sense. I get why she did that. Out there, we didn't have that, you know, to support it. And I think that's the huge disconnect between us as a jury and the audience. We didn't see what the audience sees. You know, we saw a different side.
Yeah. I mean,
and I think
Outwit's just the one part of the game, and it sounds like in terms of, you know, jury management, Aubry got outplayed by Michelle, and it just got outplayed. That's another part of the game, and they both but I mean, I'm glad we're doing this too, because I remember the finale of Kaoh, we did a recap. I think it's our most disliked video ever, because we were like stoked Michelle won. We were trying to defend her, and then now we have someone on the cast who actually voted for Michelle to win, roommates with Michelle even, and it's like defending her. So I'm really glad we're getting a chance to do this.
No, and the thing is too, is like I love Aubry, and now I believe she played an incredible game. Would I have said that out there? Absolutely not. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's because we weren't friends. We didn't have a good relationship. She didn't show me her strategy. I like couldn't see it because she didn't want to work with us. Like me, Scott, and Jason. I'm like speaking, I guess, a little bit on perhaps the three of us, mostly me, obviously, because we all have different relationships. Like I have a great relationship with Aubry now. Jason does too. Scott, you know. But it's hard for me like now to swallow. And even I think the one pre-interview I watched was Aubry's, and you know, Aubry said the winner is the winner of our season, and I'll never take that away from the winner. And that it's true. Like she's right. Like the winner is the winner of our season, and she won for a reason, and I will defend her win till the day I die. And I'm sure everyone who voted for her would agree. So it's definitely been like interesting as a jury to process the audience's reaction, because, you know, they weren't there. And
Well, even to process Jeff Probst's reaction, because Jeff Probst is throwing shade at Michelle like crazy. And it's like, dude, she won a season of your show.
Yeah.
So it's going to be okay. Like it's going to like he's throwing so much at her, and it's just like unnecessary.
Yeah, it makes me upset a little bit, because I'm like, you know what? Like what you do like, even if I personally don't like certain Survivor players, I have mad respect for every single person who goes out there and do what they do, because it's hard. And like to win, you have to have something special. So, you know, like for Jeff to shit on her is just so like honestly, like, fuck you. Like, what the fuck? Sorry, but like, it's true. Like, come on. And like, the other thing too is like, I obviously have mad respect for the show, for production, for Jeff. Like they do an incredible job with everything they do. And Jeff is what keeps the show running. And I like, you know, he's amazing at what he does. However, totally lost my train of thought. Oh no, remember, he was not out day to day on the island with us. You know, he did not have personal relationships with us all. So like he does, but they're not like as deep as we have with each other, and he doesn't get to vote. So
yeah, and it's a lot like and like we met Jeff, and Jeff's like amazing. Jeff's awesome.
Yeah,
he loves the
he's
fans,
awesome.
all that stuff. The thing with this is it's like the Natalie White win over Russell. And you can sit here and like he obviously like loved Russell and everything, and like that bothers him. But like I don't know, it was just weird that like he said it in like such like a outright way this time, which was strange, I thought. Because he doesn't normally do that. It's never outright.
Yeah, part of it might be that it's like we got Aubry on this cast right now, and it's game changers, and like let's make Aubry look as good as possible.
Right.
And that might have something to do with it.
I also, part of me feels like it could have been an interview that took place like way back, fresh off, like, like this season or whatever, like when they were filming around that time and Aubry was coming in and whatever. Anyway, part of me feels like it was written a lot more, like words can be skewed when they're on paper. And knowing Jeff and knowing like his love for the show, I don't think he would really like personally downright slam Michelle, throw it under the bus like that. And because not only did it throw, like the thing is like I think my jury stands clear. Like if Michelle goes down, we're all going down with her, kind of thing. And I think the same thing with Aubry. Like if Aubrey's playing again, we're all going to support the shit out of Aubry. Like but part of me, like it's so hard for me to like wrap my head around the fact that Jeff would like deliberately slam her. So it could have been something like not as intentionally like mean as it came out written. But then again, you never know. Yeah. And like speaking of bitter jury and him slamming us for being a bitter jury, like I think that's a little bit bitter. So hypocrisy, man. Like whatever.
Well, we got all that out of the way. I mean, it's interesting. It is. No, it's interesting. And like, yeah, once again, it's like nothing against Jeff. It's just even when Amber beats Boston Rob and Natalie beats Russell, he never had like a quote that was exactly that.
Yeah.
The only winner he's ever really like disliked a lot was Brian Heidig. Like that's the only one he like rips on. But like so it was very weird for him to say that, especially since he always is such an advocate of if you won your season, you won your season. I don't play. This is why we love the game, blah, blah, blah. So it did seem out of character for him. So I wonder if it was just a weird moment.
Honestly, I hope that it wasn't like said as deliberately like disrespectful as it turned out to be. Yeah, as it reads.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just to bring this back to season 34, I think part of Aubry going into, I don't know how much you talked with Aubry before she went out there, but did you ever kind of tell her, hey, this is why I voted Michelle over you. You didn't show me your strategy. And if she's hearing from jury members who's like a close friend of hers, why she didn't get a vote, that's very valuable. Like she knows exactly why she didn't win her season. So that can be really, that's very helpful to Aubry.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is when we came back from filming our season, right off the bat, I still didn't have like the best relationship with Aubry. It took me a few months to kind of like, we're both Boston area, and I didn't even see her until I think we got back in May, and we didn't see each other till like October. We really didn't communicate. And from there on out, we developed like an awesome, awesome relationship. And I love Aubry dearly, and she's a huge role model in my life. And I've had the opportunity to like sit with her and talk to her and be like, look, like I'm good enough friends with her now to be like, look, this is why I didn't vote for you. I'm going to be straight up blunt and honest. And we've like talked about it, and she understands, and she knows exactly like where she went wrong with people, and she's processed it. And that is like the best information you can have going into this game. So I think she's at a huge advantage. She could also be a huge target because she played such a strong game in Kaoh, and people know what she's capable of. But she now has all this knowledge to tweak it and like make it better and like perfect the areas where she was weak. I don't even think she was necessarily like weak, but just like wasn't as strong as others, I guess.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. She'll probably I think what you're saying is she'll pay more attention to her social game than her strategic game and try to level them out, because her strategic game was very, very good. Post-merge, she was very solid. And it just seemed like, Debbie might have taken it a little personally. She's not going to play with Aubry this time, so it seems like Debbie took it hard. Because, Debbie did nurse Aubry back to health out there, on like day 1 or 2, whatever it was. So, yeah, she took it a little hard. And there might have been a little bitterness from Debbie, but it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Aubry fits in on her tribe, which, we do have 9 other people to talk about, so I guess we can start branching off. Yeah. But you did say game changer for Aubry, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
There you go. Well, how are her and Caleb, and this is why we find it so interesting that you came on. You played with all 4 of these people, and you're one of the few people to actually play with all 4.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned that yet. It's crazy how all 4 you are on a tribe with. That's nuts.
Yeah. So you got to actually experience how all of them were.
Yeah.
Caleb, what? Because we got nothing from Caleb, really, because he goes down like that. How is Caleb, and what's Caleb going to be like here?
Okay, Caleb, straight off the bat, Caleb's a character. Caleb is, and I'm saying that, like, yes, in terms of game changer character, but I'm also saying it in terms of, like, in real life, he's a character. Like, he's so fun to be around. He has this, like, loud, like, outgoing, like, fun, just, like, childish, like, personality that is so, it's honestly, like, captivating. Like, I remember, like, first, like, right off the bat on the island, we were all like, oh my God, just, like, listening to Caleb constantly. It was, like, for us, it was, like, funny because I was, like, forget, like, Ty. Like, I love Ty, but, like, in terms of, like, characters, I was, like, Caleb. Like, he's great. And he was there was so many funny, like, little moments and funny things that he would say. And he comes from this background that's so, like, country and, like, rural. And, like, so to see him experiencing things on the island, like, just, like, the things that we as Survivor fans forget about, like, we forget about, like, the actual, like, building of the shelter and the finding food because we're so focused on strategy. But to see him, like, experience that stuff was so fun for us. And he really is a great guy. I will say, when we were out there, Big Brother was still pretty fresh for him. And I think his head was a little bit back in Big Brother. He would talk about it a lot. Maybe too much. Like, I'm pretty sure I could, like, tell you the entire season of Big Brother, and I've watched, like, 3 episodes of that season. So, and, like, I could tell you the backstory too. Like, that's but that being said, like, he had a strong game in Big Brother. And so he is capable, like, of a lot. He's clearly a challenge beast. So people are going to want him around in the beginning. But strategically, there is not a lot there, and, like, that could obviously change. We were, like, # blessed in the fact that we were freaking destroying challenges our first, or pre-merge, I guess, and winning everything, and didn't even have to think about tribal really. But, like, when the topic would come up, he would kind of be like, yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's focus more on, like, winning the challenges. And so we'd be like, okay, well, what if we do have to go to tribal? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it never really, like, what if it's one of those challenges where, like, we lose and we have to go automatically to tribal? Like, what are we going to do? We have to talk about it. And he just never really wanted to. And I think he felt very safe because he is so strong. And he was safe. Like, we always debated, like, the 3 girls always debated, so who are we going to get rid of, Ty or Nick? Like, Ty or Nick. It was never Caleb. So he was safe. And he sensed that. And,
his strategy was so good that it's kind of playing the Aubry style game.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm interested to see what other people's take on Caleb will be. I think his southernness, he is a little bit, like, slower pace, and it's so funny because you put probably the most 2 opposite people from my season on the same tribe together, like Aubry, who is so intelligent, so, like, 10 steps ahead, like, like, emotionally in tune to people, and then Caleb, who is more like just a beast and, like, whatever. Very, very different. I don't see them really clicking at all.
It's funny because as you talk about Caleb, I thought Caleb would be in a good spot. He's big, he's muscular, he doesn't seem threatening. Now I almost feel like Caleb's in a lot of trouble if he doesn't like to talk strategy, because you have Aubry, Sierra, Varner, Malcolm, Tony, Troyzan, Sandra, Michaela on that tribe. Hali, I mean, she seemed to talk some strategy. He is on a tribe full of strategic players who will get annoyed if he doesn't talk strategy, it seems like.
But it might be like well, we don't have to worry about him. He won't strategize to get me out, so we might want to keep him around. And that might be why it was between Nick and Ty over at the Beauty Tribe. I'm just saying there's something pre-merge about like a big, like strong guy who's not strategizing at all. It seems like someone I would want to keep around.
Yeah, that's true. But also, Caleb's the kind of person who I could see not really strategizing, and suddenly pulling some like move out of his ass, and you're like, where the hell did that come from? You know what I mean? And then people would be like, okay, now we got to get rid of him. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Caleb. I'm very interested because I hope we see a different side to Caleb. I think his edit was a lot also like a hero, you know, like heroic, like let's see these funny, goofy sides of him. Let's see him kill these challenges, and then we'll see him wipe out. We didn't see any depth, and I hope we get that because it'll be interesting. Caleb's great, like personally, like he's an awesome dude overall, and yeah.
But him and Aubry aren't going to work together, you don't think?
I don't see it. I don't see it at all. No.
Which is so funny because there's a lot of people in these pregame interviews calling them the Kaoh 4, and you have. And they're like, we got to split up the Kaoh 4. They're going to work together, even if they aren't really tight. They're familiar. But you look at it, it's Aubry and Caleb on one tribe, and you're saying they're not going to work together. And then it's Ty and Debbie on the other tribe, and they're not really that cohesive. So
and Debbie and Ty, or Debbie and Aubry going across tribes don't seem like they would work together.
The only pair would really be Caleb and Ty if they get together. Then that's a threat. But as it is now, I wouldn't, even if I were out there, I wouldn't be that worried about these co-runners.
And they put Caleb and Ty on opposite tribes for that reason. Like, they would totally work together again. And yeah, I don't know. Caleb, I think it's going to be interesting. I think that the big, strong guys on his tribe might look at Caleb and be like, question mark.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
So speaking of big, strong guys, let's jump over to Malcolm, who's playing for his third time. I guess he's not that big, but he's strong.
I can't believe that was your segue. I had a better one, but okay.
Well, I was looking through the guys. I'm like, well, I'm not going to say Varner.
No, Varner was perfect. Speaking of somebody who didn't make the jury ever, speaking of somebody who, just kind of talked to the camera and then got voted out or booted in 16th place, or right?
All right, fine. Let's go Varner.
No, I mean Malcolm. Everybody lit up at Malcolm, so we're stuck with Malcolm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean he's definitely a big personality. He might be a game changer. I don't know. He might be someone who deserves another chance. I don't know. We'll have to ask Julia.
Game changer. Maybe that's just because I like him. Is that super biased? I'm like, no, he's totally a game changer.
Game changer. Well, he did the whole 2 idols charade in Caramoan, which was pretty good.
And I think he's another one of those people that I think like Ozzy kind of like, I don't know. When I think of those kind of characters, I think like Ozzy as like the iconic, like that kind of challenge beast kind of, whatever, the Joe Anglim type, like the original. And then I think of Malcolm as more of like a more strategic version of that, I guess. So I'm excited to see.
I mean, he aligned with Denise, and to me, that's almost like a game changer move because the young guy very rarely sides with the older woman. Normally, the younger girl will side with the older man. Might be like a father figure type thing. You see something in that. A lot of times, the younger guy wants to side with the younger girl, not the older girl. Mm-hmm. And for him to side with Denise and be good enough that they get down as the last 2 people left on that tribe because their whole tribe gets decimated, I think that really speaks to how he played the game. Yeah. And I do think that he is more of a game changer than a character. I do think he was at least trying to change the game as much as he possibly could.
I agree 100%. I think that also, like, I think this entire cast, if I was playing, I'd be most scared of Malcolm. Oh, yeah. Because I think that he would be the person to easily persuade me. Like, easily. I would be, totally.
He's charming. He says it in his, he's like, I don't want to be arrogant. Charming as hell.
that's I would totally be persuaded by Malcolm, like easy. So that he'd be the person I'd be most scared of. And he's an amazing competitor in terms of challenges. So
can he oh, go ahead.
Well, you said he aligned with Denise. I think he even said he might want to do something similar again. Yeah. And I know Debbie is on the other tribe, but have we found a friend for Debbie in Malcolm?
I could see that. I could totally see that because I think Malcolm like going back to like the charm, whatever, has the tolerance and like patience to work with someone like Debbie. And I think he would like seeing, I don't know, his previous game and whatever. I think that he could find some like really fun qualities in Debbie and really like appreciate her as a person. I think he's like one of those kind of people who's like really open to understanding people's like character. So I could totally see that.
I mean, he made it to the Final Four in Philippines with Scoop and Lisa and Denise.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot about him. Does he charming enough to go with Caleb or Aubry, or will Aubry kind of see through it? I could see Caleb being friends with him, but what about Aubry?
I could see Aubry working with him too. Aubry, I think, has a good read on genuine people and like authentic character, and I think that Malcolm, even though he does have this like charm that's kind of like disguising, I guess, or a little bit, I think he is like authentically like a really good guy, and I think Aubry will be able to read that. But at least that's what I pick up. She's really good at reading people's intuition. So, and
they're both pretty big threats, I'd say.
I'd say
threats want to stick together. So
they'd be a dope team. Like that would be awesome. So.
Well, and that's what's so interesting about this tribe. It's like all threats.
Yeah.
Like for the most part. So like it's going to be really interesting. Like, are they going to be like, well, Sandra's the biggest threat, Tony's the biggest? Like you don't really know who they're going to view as the biggest threat. Mm-hmm. So this will definitely be the more fun tribe, I think. Well, I don't have a segue for Malcolm. I was going to save him for last. So
why are you going to save him for last?
Because he would just be like the person who's like left at the end. I could be like, speaking of the last person we have left, but no, I don't know. I guess we go to Troyzan because they have the same hair.
Oh God.
Perfect. Yeah, let's hop over to Troyzan.
And Julia already gave us an oh God. So Julia, what do you really think?
I don't know. I'm not like when I look at this cast, I'm like, I love this person, I love this person, I love this person. I see Troyzan, I'm like, oh, yeah. Whatever.
Well, we clearly have not read the 30th anniversary Survivor magazine, which listed Troyzan saying "This is my island" as a top 10 moment in the show's history.
I don't even have a comment. Like
we didn't either.
Oh my God. Okay, again, definitely a character, because do I think he's a game changer? Do I think he deserves a second, like another shot or whatever?
Oh, really?
Wow.
But he's a character. He's a character. I'll give him that. Like, definitely a character.
See, I really think Troyzan deserves a second shot because I think he got stuck on a tribe, or he got stuck in a season where the guys were so dumb and Kim was so good that he never had a chance. And I'd like to see him play with all good players because I do think he's a good player. Do I think he's as good as Richard Hatch, like he proclaimed to be at the 24 reunion? That's where it gets a little for me. But
this is my island.
This is his island. I really do think he deserves a second chance because I think the people who beat him, aside from Kim, are worse players than him.
Okay. I'll agree with that.
I know you don't want to.
I'm fine. I think Michelle knows him. Like I'm pretty sure they talk, and she has nothing but good things to say. So I'm sure he's really great. I just
You saw what you saw.
Overall, though, am I being that harsh on anyone? No, and that's not really bad.
No. Yeah.
So there we go.
No. I mean, you can if you want to just go on like a 5-minute rant about Troyzan. The floor is yours.
So who's Troyzan?
Does he fit in
here? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. There it is.
Is it going to be? I can't see really Aubry, and I'm not really seeing Caleb too much either. More so Caleb than Aubry, but I don't know.
I see.
I mean, you know the Kaoh.
I don't see Caleb and Troyzan for some reason. Like I just don't see it. I feel like Caleb will be more drawn to like Tony, like that type. I say more Aubry than Caleb and him and Troyzan. So we'll see though. Who knows?
Oh, but I also think Aubry, she can get along with a lot of different people.
Yeah, she can.
Even if Troyzan, it's like kind of Aubry putting the effort in to like make sure that
right, exactly. Like I could see Troyzan being one person that Aubry like doesn't click with right off the bat, but definitely puts an effort to kind of make a relationship with, because that's the kind of person she is, you know.
Yeah,
Troyzan also is one of those people that's like, you're going to want to have a good relationship with him, I think, because he's looked at in a different way than the Tony Caleb, like, strong guy type. So those are the kind of people you reach for the deeper relationships with, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I do think Troyzan is bound to go far in this season. I really do. I think he's gonna do really well because I think he's got like the most to play for almost out of everybody out there. Because he was like humiliated after, like not so much, but his season he just looked so bad.
And he had the whole second chance thing where he was on the ballot and
he
claims it was rigged.
Oh God!
You know what?
Like I would love to see him kill it. Like if he does a good job, that'll be awesome. I hope he does overall.
Okay, there we go. We got you to turn around.
Yes, there we go. He was my first fantasy pick, so that was really
okay.
Yeah, I think he's going to go far. I think he's really not that threatening, and
I agree.
So I think he'll last a long time in this game.
I agree, definitely.
And I think we should go from Will's first fantasy pick to my first fantasy pick, which is Michaela.
Great segue.
Thank you. I worked on that one. That one was good. So Michaela, I know you kind of talked about Zeke and what the struggles he's going to have playing back to back. What about Michaela? And what was your opinion on Michaela watching this season?
I loved Michaela during her season. I really did. It's nice to see. I think like Michaela did a lot of like what I was trying to do, but maybe she went overboard with what I was trying to do. You know what I mean? Like really like flip things on their head because she's young and she like went for it. And like, that's something I totally respect being who I am, I guess, in terms of the game. But yeah, I liked Michaela a lot. I'm excited to see what she'll bring to the table. I hope she makes it further than she did because I think she has a lot more in her. And I think she could like completely take control. Like, I think she has that capability. However, people who have watched Millennials versus Gen X, I think will think the same thing. And, she could be an easy target.
Well, her advantage is they didn't see Millennials versus Gen X yet.
They didn't see it all?
No, they haven't seen it at all. They didn't see anything.
They didn't see anything. Okay, well, then that's her advantage. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. I didn't even realize that. Because I remember, like, when I did my season, it could have been timing different. I saw the first, maybe 4 or 5 episodes of season 30. And then to go film. So I saw the beginning.
Yeah, they did this as 33 to 34, so I guess they were filming before this one aired because this one aired in the fall.
That makes sense.
Yeah, these are the same location, both in back-to-back.
Yeah. So, I forgot. Holy moly. That's crazy. Yeah, and I think, you know what, Zeke made it farther than her. So in terms of back-to-back, like Zeke might have a harder time, like physically, mentally, like processing. Michaela, I think, has had more time to kind of, and she didn't make it to the part of the game that really just like messes with you, which is like right post-merge. Then your brain is just like fried and like you're in a totally different world. And she didn't make it there. So I think her recovery time was probably quicker, which is also benefits her.
Yeah, and I think she started playing this season as soon as she got voted off by Jay. Yeah. Like, I think she just mentally was like, I'm ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is she a game changer? That's
Yeah, I think Michaela's game changer, definitely. And a character. She's both.
She's definitely a character. I could see the game changer, but she is definitely probably one of the biggest characters we've had in recent.
And she deserves a second chance, so she's hitting all 3 circles.
She's one of those people. I'd love to see her do super well.
How is she going to get along with Aubry? And I know a lot of people make the Aubry-Hannah comparisons. There are similarities there, and it seemed like Hannah and Michaela actually did get along pretty well. Do you think Aubry and Michaela will have an alliance, or will they bond?
I don't know. I could see Michaela, like, I know Michaela, like, from her season, I think she really likes to take charge. That's what, like, I kind of picked up. And so does Aubry, but Aubry does it in a more discreet way. So I could see a power struggle kind of thing. And not necessarily Aubry being annoyed with Michaela, but Michaela being annoyed with Aubry. Not Aubry not listening to what Michaela wants to do. That kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see it too well, but we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. So what about Caleb? Anything?
Nah.
No. Caleb's done, huh?
Yeah, because you were talking about like the slow vibe, country vibe versus like the really aggressive play. It seems like.
Well, isn't she from Dallas though? She's from the South, right? But still.
Different South though.
Different South.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's always playing. So to go from one pre-merger to another pre-merger, let's hop to Jeff Varner.
Okay.
Are we excited to see him back for a third time?
Yes. I think, I don't know. I hope, all I'm going to say is that, like, I don't really have, like, too much of an opinion on Jeff Varner just because, like, he is a character. I'll tell you that. Like, definitely he got a ton of confessionals in Cambodia and was, like, you know, on everyone's radar while he played. But, like, I just hope that he's learned, I guess, from Cambodia specifically and can come back with a different approach. That's, like, I just, like, hope that he can do that for himself, you know?
I hope so too. I really love Varner because like Australia is one of my favorites, and I loved him on Australia, and he changed the game by being the first person to be voted out for jumping down for peanut butter. You know, that's a game changing moment. Totally ruin your chances because you were hungry. But I'm so confused. Yeah, he was a great presence in Cambodia, so I am happy to see him again because I just like him. But 2 times to not make the jury, and then you come back for a third. I hope he learned something because otherwise he is doomed.
Exactly.
Again, it's going to be bad if you don't make the jury all 3 times.
Exactly.
I'm almost kind of rooting for it now because that would be very funny. I don't have any player played 3 times and never made a jury or to the final.
No.
I don't think that's ever happened.
No.
That'd be a good distinction for Varner.
Yeah, right. It would be, honestly, it would be kind of cool. Like, I'm so into those, like, trivia those trivia facts that they have like on the bottom of the wikis and stuff, you know, like I love reading those. So that would be a cool one. But I mean, I hope for his sake, like his personal sake, and like, I don't know, for his mental health, like he makes it to the merge. Like, poor guy. Like, I want him to do well.
Yeah, and
fun too.
What was that?
He seems super fun too.
He seems like he's out there to have a good time, and the strategy comes in and he gets mad and he does his thing, but he's out there to have the good time first. What do you see him aligning with either Caleb or Aubry though?
Maybe Aubs. I could see him like easily persuading Caleb. Like I think like Jeff Varner has to be very strategic with the people. Like I think he's one of those kind of people that wants to like have people wrapped around his finger, but I think it's hard for him to get there. And I think Caleb would be an easy person for him to kind of click with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's almost like Abby Maria. He tried to get Abby Maria right away because he thought that he could control her, and then it just she's still Abby Maria.
Right.
But yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm just gonna call Aubry Aubs all season now. So now I'm excited.
Yeah, you're like you kind of know her, kind of friend of a friend. A little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I know 2 people that she's really good friends with now, so I can call her
you know Soko, right?
Yeah, Soko, Aubs, and what's Michelle's? Mish Fitz? Like, is that what you guys call her?
Mish, yeah. Mish, Aubs, and Soko, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Well, to hop from someone who played in a single-digit seaman to someone else who played in a single-digit season, we're going to go to Sandra, the winner of Season 7, Pro Islands, and the winner of Heroes vs. Villains. Sandra... I really don't know where Sandra's going to land. She could be the first boot. She might go all the way to the end again. I really don't know. I'm curious what you think.
Like,
all I know is she's not a game changer. Sorry.
What? No. I see what you're saying. That took me a minute. I was like, are you kidding me?
She's more of a character, right?
No, Sandra is queen. Are we joking? No, she's the mom. And yeah, I could like very well see Sandra being first boot, like because people are like, no, not a shot, you know. But then again, like I also low-key want to put my money on Sandra because like she's done it twice, so she could probably do it again. And
someone picked her for his fantasy team. Just saying.
That was Will.
So I think I love her. I'm so excited to watch her because it's been a while now. And yeah, I'm so happy she's on Twitter. It's just like, that's a game-changing move for her right there. So.
And everybody who thinks that I actually don't think she's a game changer, that's Caleb, not me. Okay, that is Caleb's. Because like all of a sudden the comment section blows up like, are you kidding me? And it's like, go read what Caleb did. Caleb got so much backlash.
He got slammed. He almost got as much slam as like me wanting to kill the chicken. Like almost. No.
This is
we'll have to get to
the community. This is worse.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He slammed. Literally, it's like I don't know who's like Beyonce. It's like literally saying that you don't like Beyonce.
I don't like Beyonce that much, actually.
Don't say that to me.
Anyway.
Yeah, we better change subjects now.
Yeah, I was trying to. I think that Sandra and Aubry, I think it'd be smart for them to work together. Like I said, Aubry is a really big threat. This is Kaoh Rong's the most recent season everyone saw before going out there. She had a great edit, strategic edit, competitive player. And I think her, being in Sandra's good graces and knowing that they're both huge threats, I think that would be good. I could see them getting along.
Yeah, I could too. Definitely. I hope that Obs isn't like super intimidated by Sandra at first, and I hope she's just like herself right away because I think they would click.
And what about Caleb? I love it. I love Caleb's too. I love how you loved Caleb, and you said he's like a good guy, but he talks so much, and now it's just like he has no friend. Him and Debbie are gonna be at like the no friends table.
Like, oh my god. I don't know. Like, I could just see Sandra not having any tolerance for Caleb. Like, Caleb is awesome because he played Big Brother, and like it's like him and Hayden, the only two Big Brother people who have done Survivor. Yeah. So, I mean that's a different game in itself, and you got to have respect for the people that can do that game as well. But like, leave it at home. Don't bring it to the island because no one wants to hear about it. You know what I mean? And like Sandra definitely doesn't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting with Sandra for sure. I hope she does well, just because of the storyline associated with winning twice and coming out. For
I'm rooting for her to at least make it far, because even if she doesn't, she's a great character. She really is a lot of fun. Her confessionals are great and everything. So to take it from one winner who is on my fantasy team, we'll go to the other winner who is on my fantasy team, Tony, who I am just thrilled is coming. I was really, when I saw him on this cast, I was like, man, I wanted to come back for all winners or legends, and this is kind of, I didn't really know where he'd fit in, but now I'm just like, all right, I cannot wait to see Tony on my team.
Well, Tony is definitely a game changer, and it's so funny because when I was being cast and when I was about to go out, my dad is a huge Survivor fan. Like, my dad is kind of the person that like got me into the show, and he'd always be like, you gotta do something like Tony in the Spy Shack. Like, you gotta do, he like loves Tony. So I know my dad is like stoked to see Tony, which makes me like stoked to see Tony because my dad is like, I don't know, I associate Survivor a lot with my dad. So like, I'm excited to see him. I think he's a huge threat. I think he's going to be a huge target, if not a bigger target than Sandra. I could see that because his game was just so strong and so memorable. Like, I truly think that Sandra won twice, and like that is memorable, but like Tony's win is probably like top 3 most memorable wins. I think easy. Like, I don't know. I just associate, like, when I think of winners, I definitely put him up there.
Because he like sprinted through that game, and everybody has been saying in the pre-game interviews they want to get rid of Tony. Tony is like number 1 on the hit list for like 6 or 7 other people.
Plus, he's an incredible narrator. Like, he does a really good job. Like, he's so engaging, and that's super fun for the audience too. So he has it both. Like, he has the game, the strength, the strategy, the social game, and he's freaking awesome to watch. So.
Yeah, and he said something that was so funny, and I want to bring this up in this one, but in his video, he said that on his season, he had a stone for his daughter and a stone for his wife, and he told everybody outright, like, that's what he's playing for. He put him in his pocket, and he told people he's going to do the same thing this time, but then he's going to find 2 other stones and pretend he's giving them to people.
The clothes.
Like, we're so aligned, And then he said it's going to work out perfect until they're all sitting on the jury and they're going to stone him to death because they're going to have stone. Like, I thought that was so funny and so ridiculous, like, to even think of that.
He's awesome.
And that's why he actually might have a chance, because you have Sandra out here, there's Malcolm, there's Aubry, there's other people. I mean, even Michaela's an unknown quantity at this point. So
damn, this tribe is stacked. Like,
yeah,
it's the best tribe.
Is a crazy tribe. And he talked about he was going to plant an idol in someone's bag and, like, you know, frame them, like go talking to them at the watering hole or something, and that he's going to build a spy shack underground, and he's coming out there to play like as hard as he was playing. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Tony, you know, find his way into, I don't know, some kind of, you can't have an alliance. I just don't know how you could trust the guy, but
yeah,
either way,
that would be one person I would not trust. Like, you would have to be a very strategically competent player, like very, 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 very smart to play with Tony.
Like Aubry?
Like, maybe Aubry.
Like Caleb?
That's just mean.
You're the one laughing.
I was serious.
Yeah, we were asking a very serious question.
No, but I'm like different level of smart. Like, you have to be able to be smarter than him. Like, you have to be quicker than him, you know, and that's hard to do. I don't see a lot of other people. Maybe. See, the thing with Sandra is, like, she's more of a, like, as long as it's not me kind of person. And that's, like, her strategy. And that could, like, in a sense, work with Tony for a while. But I can even see, like, Aubry manipulating Tony. What?
Yeah, just like Sandra can just keep Tony around, and there's always someone bigger to get rid of.
Yeah.
And I think Aubry fits in with these three. I think Aubry, I know she didn't win, but it's, like, so fresh in people's minds. I really think she should work with the winners on this tribe.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't think Sandra is, like, intimidated by anyone. So I think Tony and Sandra could work.
Sandra said she's wearing her tiara out there, her crown. She said she's wearing it. So,
if I were her, I would.
But Tony wants to get rid of her so bad because he wants to be the king. He said they've had a queen long enough. It's time for him to be the king. So.
Oh, well, if he said that, then who knows? He probably is going to.
Yeah.
Except you can't. You have to chill with your tribe in the beginning. I mean, a little bit. You have to, like, want to be a team and win first, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All about teamwork before tribal. So.
All right, so
yeah, we'll see how this team goes.
We're going to go from one guy who changed the game to another player who changed the game, the first person ever to vote out her mom, and might be the only person ever to vote out her mom. So a true game changer, both these guys. We're going to Sierra Easton.
Cool. I like Sierra. I think she's cool. Like, I don't consider her, like, a character, like a lot of these people. But I really do. I like her. I think she has a lot of potential, and I think she's learned a lot, especially during Cambodia. I think she learned a lot. I think she's one of those people that, like, plays and soaks it in, and she might be ready now to, like, really, like, go. I mean, obviously the voting out her mom thing is a huge, like, iconic move, whatever. But I don't know. And, like, Jeff loves that. But
we never noticed.
But I'm excited to see Sierra because I just think she's, like, a cool person. Like, I think I'd want to be Sierra's friend. Like, if I was out there, I'd probably see. This is my problem though. Like, I go for the people who, like, I want to be their friends, like Michelle, and then, like, that ends up getting me into trouble. So, like, maybe I wouldn't align with Sierra, but I would want to be her friend outside the game. I think she's cool. So.
Yeah, I think Sierra's.
Yeah, we were saying she's not in a good spot here just because she's so strategic and she's all about big moves and, like, playing so hard. And she told everyone to play so hard in Cambodia and that she's not that strong in challenges. I feel like she might be an easy target, just like someone that everyone can kind of agree on. They're thrown into this crazy game called Game Changers. It kind of would feel like a safe bet to get rid of her. But who
Very
knows?
well could be. But then again, like, it depends on who she clicks with because I was gonna say then she could just be used as a vote to get off those bigger players like Sandra and Tony. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't really see, like, a lot of people in that tribe clicking with her either. Like, I don't see Aubry really clicking with her. I don't think Tony and Sandra are even gonna give her, like, the time of day. Like I just can't.
It's very
you
true.
know.
I could see maybe Malcolm, but even Malcolm should be wary of someone like Sierra.
Yeah, yeah.
And really, Malcolm never sides with younger girls. It never happens.
And Sierra was also about that all-girls alliance in Cambodia.
Well, like a monster.
Oh, it's me? Am I the monster?
I think right there you were, but whatever.
Okay.
You're good now.
I'm back.
I was
just saying how Sierra was the one with the all-girls alliance, and that might scare like even Troyzan or Varner and everybody.
Yeah. She got put in kind of a shitty situation.
She'd
be better off on the other tribe, I think. But
I agree.
If she goes home early, just blame it on the tribe.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's jump from somebody who voted out their mom to somebody who has a mom, because there's no other segue for Hali, is there? This is our last person.
Are you sure that Hali has a mom?
Okay. She.
Oh my god!
I don't know. Now you're putting me on the spot. I mean,
they're both women on the Mana tribe in Survivor Game Changers. How about that?
Yes, there you go. That could work too. And I'm sure Hali would vote out her mom if she had a chance on the show. So we'll go with her. But anyway, Hali, what do you say about Hali, Julia? Because what do you say about Hali?
There's not much to say, but one thing I do love.
That's her spot. Will, that's her spot.
It's not a bad thing. This is the thing. I have looked at a little bit of her pregame stuff. I don't know, like my pregame looking is so random. Like I didn't look at like Sandra's or anyone, but I looked at Hali, or it's Hali, right? Not Hali. I get so confused with the spelling. Anyway, regardless, one thing I love about her is she's like, yeah, I don't know why I'm back. Like I don't know what I did, and like that's awesome. And like to go in with that perspective and kind of just be like don't really know why I'm here. Like don't really know what the hell's going on. Like could be really beneficial to her ultimately, because she's not looked at as a threat. Like she's going to be used as a number initially when hopefully she can make it to merge where she can kind of like make her own game for herself. But like initially, like what is she going to do? I mean, like on a tribe with Tony and Malcolm and Aubry, and like, no, sorry, girl. Like, you're so sweet and she's so cute that she's just going to be totally manipulated.
I hope not, because on her season, I felt like she had a lot of game to play, and I feel like she just got stuck on the wrong side of the numbers more than anything.
That's what she says, too.
Totally got stuck on the wrong tribe again. Like, she's not, cards are not aligned. I mean, like, she could skate through and like not be a target, and that's what could get her to the merge, and then she could come out with like an awesome game, and I could totally see that coming from her. But I think that's honestly her only shot too. Like she's just got to skate through under the radar, make other people, the big personalities, the big targets first.
I want to see her take over and be just like the power, like have Sandra and Tony in each pocket, like playing them off each other. I mean,
that would be amazing.
I would love it. I'm actually a big fan of Hali, and I'm really excited she's back. She might even end up being my winner pick. I don't know. Phil, she might be your winner pick, right, Phil? I don't know. We haven't done winner picks yet.
Might be. She might be. The more we talk about it, I'm not sure.
And I love her. Yeah, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, like, if she like ends up doing well, like that will be the most awesome thing in the entire world. Because like she isn't like really compared to all these people, it's like what? But like, so it would be so cool.
And I agree with you how she's saying like, why am I here? I think that's really awesome, and just being that self-aware, I think it's gonna really help her out there. I really do.
Definitely.
So how's she gonna fit in with Caleb and Aubry?
I feel she could connect with Caleb.
We found one.
She could connect with Caleb. I could see that. I could see her connecting with Aubry too. I think she's really sweet. And I think she's smart. And I think she's a lot smarter than like she came off, kind of. Like I think she's one of those people that not like has a hard time articulating, but it's just like it's not, you know how some people you watch them and you're like Aubry, when you watch her confessionals, you're like, wow, like I'm really understanding where you're coming from. Like I'm getting what you're doing. With her, like I never really got that. I was never like super engaged in her confessionals and like understood fully like what she was doing. But Aubry like might be able to connect with her. I could see that. I think Aubry and Caleb both, yeah.
And Hali has said she wants to play more strategic. So I think Hali going to Aubry and kind of, developing a strategic game with her, I think that'd be really good.
Definitely.
Now, where does she fit? This is the last question here. Does she game change her character, or
no? She deserves a second shot. That's really Hali.
There we go.
Well, that's good. That's good. We did, and now we've gone through all 20 characters. You did manage to say 11 of them were game changers. I was keeping track.
Okay.
So
I sure as hell was not keeping track.
I was. That's what I did.
There we go.
So you did manage to get 11 of them.
Okay. That's good. I feel like that's
more than half, yeah.
More than half.
It's pretty good. Now I know we're at 2 hours already. I don't know if it's felt like it, it's just time flies. But we do have Twitter comments. Okay. Like where are you at?
I can do it. It's fine.
Roll through some of them. So there's everybody. If you're 2 hours in, we're finally getting to comments of Julia. Questions. Well, I guess we'll go back and forth again.
Yeah, sure. I'm bringing them up.
Shout out to people who have stayed on for 2 hours if they have. I don't know.
There's so many.
Yeah,
this live chat has been blowing up the entire time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this has been really good, and it's been funny over there, and this has been cool. I'll read the first one.
Okay.
Jack Linehan, I'm pretty sure he's asking you on a date, and then then he says, Julia, when I'm in Boston, drink sometime. And then he also says, will the Kaoh 4 have to prove they're not a voting block? So I guess answer with that's 2 questions. It's 1 tweet, so I guess I'll give it to him. But
yeah, just slide in my DMs, no, but let's see. I don't think they're gonna have to prove that they're not a voting block because I think people are gonna really quickly get a read on how different their personalities are. And realize that there's not a shot, I think the most people would have to be worried about is if Aubry and Ty both got to merge, then people might have to worry a little bit. Even if Ty and Caleb get to merge together too, people might worry a bit. But I don't see Aubry working with Caleb and so no, people don't have to worry.
Yeah,
got it. So we have Joe Brochacho. Besides the season 32 cast, who are you most excited to see in Game Changers?
Andrea.
Who was your third? Because we did cover
Andrea. I was just gonna say that.
Oh, okay. I this is hard because I don't know, but I really like Suri. I would love Suri to win. It's just my little child Survivor fan inside. But there's so many. I would love Malcolm to win. Honestly, I'd be happy with a lot of people. Watch none of the people I love get there, of course.
Your final 3 is Troyzan, Brad, and somebody else. No. Hali, exactly.
Oh my god. Could you imagine? But no, I also love Sierra Dawn Thomas, and I want her to freaking kill it so that she just shows the internet what's up. That would be dope.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So we're kind of I'm going to kind of skip around on some of these just because we covered so many of them so in depth. Yeah. But Noah asks, why aren't you on this season? And I think that could be a pretty good question there.
Yeah, I would have loved to be on this season. I honestly, if I got asked to play again, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'm dying to play again. Because I think even from when I played, I've grown up a lot. I've learned a lot. I'm almost done with college, and I'm just in a very different phase of my life than when I played the game. And I think there was a lot of growth in between watching it and the people that I interact with now, and my network. So I've definitely learned a lot and would love to play again. Don't know why I wasn't asked back. I guess they don't think I'm a game changer. That's cool. And I'm honestly, because of the whole bitter jury thing, I'm worried that I'm not worried, but I feel there's a shot that I'll probably never be asked back just because, my jury is not really liked.
Which is what I find interesting because even you and Jason, both huge characters on that season. Jason especially was huge from day one. for him to not be on the season really surprises me because they could have easily replaced Caleb with him.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know he probably would have gone back too. And I just feel like just like the backlash we've received, it's unfortunate because even though like, you know, maybe we're a little bit aggressive and we're a little bit like loud as a jury or whatever you want to call it, like we all do really love the game and we do appreciate it and we respect it and it's given us so much. So I do hope that like in the future I get the opportunity to go back because I would love it. But I just don't really see it in the cards for me just because of our reputation, which is sad, but you know.
I will say, just to look on the brighter side, Debbie voted for Michelle to win, and she's back, you know, playing in this season. And you're still in college, right? So maybe they're like, all right, well, Julia's got to finish college, and we don't want to, you know.
I am. I also feel like it would be cool to have a season, I think, with both me and Will when we're like a little bit old. Like, I mean, now I'm older, but
that would be interesting.
You know, maybe like in a couple years. Just to see how
maybe like a decade, maybe even.
But I genuinely feel like my game, like I say this all the time, and I know everyone probably says this, but I feel like there was a few moves I definitely like regret, not necessarily regret, but would have done differently looking back on my game. And I feel like if I went in again, I could win. Like I feel like I have a good shot at another time around. I'm a lot more self-aware. I know where I went wrong, and I want to play again, and I think I could do that. And the time gave it to me. The time definitely gave that to me.
And I think what they're doing is they're saving you for a bitter juries versus good jury season. That's what's coming. They're saving you for that. My God. But yeah, it would be pretty cool to see some of your Kaoh jury members get on there again because I think you have a very interesting and a very diverse, like you said, diverse cast.
Yeah.
You have your villain and you have your heroes, and it'd be a shame if that was really the reason why none of you got asked back, except for me.
And I know, like, I understand, like, Scott and Jason, it's, like, hard. I know they'd play again. Like, they love it. You know, we'd all play again. And I think we'd approach certain things, differently this time. And the way, specifically, maybe, like, we explained ourselves. And, like, we're more open. I don't know, just more open. And it's, yeah. I just hope that eventually some of us get another shot.
I could see it for the villains tribe if they do heroes versus villains, or something.
People
like
always say like, if they did heroes versus villains and I were to come back, I'd be on villains. But like,
I agree too.
Yeah, I agree. So, yeah.
Alrighty, well, this question, it kind of fits in with the one before, but is there anyone you wanted to be on this season that didn't get on and you could just say yourself? That would be a pretty easy answer. But is there anyone else? I guess the whole Kaoh jury besides Devin.
The whole Kaoh to like, would have loved to see Sydney play again. Love to see Jason play again. Love to see Scott play again. Even Nick. He's not, obviously, I don't really consider, I think he's going to literally kill me for saying that.
You don't consider him a jury member?
No.
You don't consider Neil a jury member, I hope.
I don't really think, no. No. I don't consider Nick like a game changer, but I think Nick is one of those people who definitely deserves another shot. Because I think he has a lot more game left in him. And he loves Survivor. Like he would do it again. I know, like in a heartbeat. Like he lives, breathes, eats this. Even though he'll like kill me for saying that and be like, I do not. But true. I would have loved to see David because we talked about that a little bit earlier. He would have been awesome. I mean, there are some like of those like iconic players again. Like you have like Russell and Boston Rob, who I know we're kind of like sick of seeing at this point. Like we've seen them 1,000 times, but they are like, when I look at Survivor in retrospect, like those are game changers. So they probably should ultimately be in this cast. But
in reality, they kind of like overuse their game changers at this point with Russell, Boston Rob, Parvati, James, Amanda, even Ozzy has been overused. Like all these people that you've overused, kind of, it's like a hodgepodge of whatever. You know, like not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but it's just so much more of a hodgepodge than had they not done so many returning seasons between 16 and 25.
Yeah.
I just want to see Rupert back. I'm really waiting on
one
that
for the thumb. Let me see here. You kind of touched on this, but who do you keep in touch with from your season and from other seasons?
I obviously keep in touch with Michelle and Aubry.
That's shocking.
And I basically keep in touch with majority of my season, besides some of the early pre-mergers. Like, I don't really, I love them all. Like, they're all great people. I just don't really keep in touch with, Jenny, Alicia, like that, Peter, like those people as much. But other seasons, who do I keep in touch with in other seasons? Rodney, a lot of the Dirty 30 cast. I do I go to a lot of the events and stuff. So the people who are always at those. I'm trying to think of this upcoming season. I think we're gonna watch the premiere of the season with Figgy and maybe Jay and a few people from Millennials, Gen X, and yeah. So I'm kind of across the board. It's kind of people in my area too. Jeremy lives in the area, which is awesome. I'm obsessed with him and Val. I want my future relationship to be that. They're amazing. And yeah, just the people in the Boston area mostly. And
there's definitely a lot of you. It's
yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
We have a squad. We're it's fun. Trish is in the area. I've met her a few times. I don't keep in touch with her, but she's cool.
I would see her play again. That would have been fun to see.
Her and Tony. Cagayan cast.
Yeah.
That's who I would love to see play again. Even some of the early girls, Alexis Maxwell, I'd love to see her again. Yeah. Cagayan was dope. I love that season.
Yeah. All right, we got one from T-Rex here. What aspects of Aubry's game will help hurt her if she sticks to them this time out? We kind of talked about her not, conveying her strategic prowess, but is there anything else that if she does this again, it's not going to be good?
It's not going to be good.
Or this will help her if she does this again?
I think that Aubry has a really great, fun, funky personality and really fun sense of humor, and it took me a long time to see that. Towards the end of my game, I started to really see it, and so I kind of hope that she comes out with that right out front, because that's something that I think Michelle really did, was showed her fun. Michelle's a goofball and came out with that, was dancing all around the island all the time and being goofy and fun, and Aubry totally has that side to her, but it takes her longer to warm up. So I hope that she just shows how fun she can be. She's not only smart, but she's fun, and I want her to show that right away.
Hopefully, I think hopefully she does, because I think that's what happened to her at the beginning of her season, and I think it's hard to overcome because you're with those people. You didn't necessarily see it, but everybody else is, and I'm sure. How did that work? Did you hear about her going through her panic attack type thing? Did Jeff bring it up at when you got to a challenge?
I don't.
Did you guys know?
I think it was brought up maybe at a challenge, but we kind of brush it off because we're oh, in the beginning, everyone kind of has their hard moments, and I didn't really see it as much as of what it was. And on the island, everyone has times like that. You look at me, I see my the one episode I cannot rewatch is my Braun Beach episode. I literally cringe looking at myself. It's
really?
So
I thought that was a pretty strong.
Epic.
That's pretty cool for you, to be the 18-year-old girl out there who goes on the kind of pretty much Exile Island.
Yeah.
And go through that. I thought you came out looking good in that one, I'll say.
Thanks. A lot of people said that to me, but personally, it was me seeing myself weaker, and that was hard. So I was oh, I don't want to watch it. Because but then also it's genuine though. That's really how I felt, and I was really low, and so it showed my true self too, and it's hard because you do have to constantly put on a front, be strong, and that was me breaking down, and everyone has those moments where they're breaking down. But yeah, I think Jeff might have brought it up in the beginning, and I just didn't really think anything of it. And then Debbie actually was the one. I think Debbie was I was having some kind of conversation with Debbie about Aubry post merge, and it came up, but it was coming from Debbie, and you have to take everything that Debbie says with a grain of salt because she's Debbie. So it never really like completely read. And Aubry had told me, I think before our season aired, like, oh, I had a meltdown this episode. Like, you're going to see it. And I just like didn't think of it as much as it was, I guess, until I saw it.
Yeah. I will say with your one episode, for even though you thought it showed weak, to be able to come back the next episode and then convince everybody to vote off Peter, I think you overcame the weakness part.
Yeah, I definitely did. I think that like that was my like finale question too. Like, you know, I think that those like really low moments are what kind of like hit you when you're like, okay, I gotta freaking go at this point. Because I was like, literally my hands were tied at that point, so I dug deep and like I wiggled my way through it. And I'm bummed because I think like that was something that was, because there's so many other things that were going on around that time of the game, it was definitely like overlooked, but I think that was one of my more strong moments.
How brutal was that? Just like you can't even grasp on TV.
Exile, like, or Braun Beach, whatever.
Yeah, the Braun Beach.
Yeah. It was like genuinely the worst experience of my entire life. I loved Survivor. I love being on the island with everyone else. I love not showering. I love like not eating. It's people are like, what the hell? But like, I loved it. Braun Beach was genuinely like the worst though. People always say like, oh, you were there one night. I was there 2 nights. I was there 3 days. And so that's something that people don't know either. Like because they don't show it and thing. And it poured. So most of the nights we were out there, it maybe rained 1 or 2 nights. Poured both the nights I was on Braun Beach by myself. Dumped rain. Rats were crawling on me like overnight. And I am like a big, like I can do bugs, I can do snakes, I can do all that stuff. Rats or my like rodents are my one no. Crawling all over me, I'd feel them all night. Thunder and lightning. I was dehydrated. I didn't drink water for 2 days. I didn't eat anything for 2 days. It was pouring rain, and that's why I couldn't make fire, which it made me like look like I'm such a little bitch because I like worked so hard. I'm practicing making fire. Made it on Beauty Beach. Show me not making fire. I'm like, everything's goddamn wet. Like, duh, I can't make fire. So yeah, it was the worst. It was the worst. I like hate thinking back to it. Like, I actually, people like don't. This is a fun fact. When I was on Braun Beach, like a yellow, and I was like laying in the shelter. It must have been like 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, like late in the afternoon. I hadn't gotten up yet. I was so like dehydrated, couldn't move. All these like yellow butterflies were like circling around me. And like, this is so cheesy, but like one landed like on my leg, and I like thought of like my mom, and I like got all this inspiration. And so I got it tattooed on me when I came home. I got a yellow butterfly tattoo from Braun Beach. Yeah. So fun fact.
Awesome. That is awesome. Fact. I don't know if that tops Chris's tattoo story, but I mean that's up there, one of the better tattoo stories.
So yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, we got Anthony, whose Twitter handle is Sandra Diaz Twine, and I got super excited that Sandra Diaz Twine filed us, but didn't. Hi, Julia. Who this season do you think will play the most like you?
Ooh.
Most like me. Ooh. Maybe like Sierra Dawn Thomas, because I could see her just like kind of flying under the radar and then pulling out some stuff, trying to like help herself out at some point. Maybe like Hali. I don't know. Like I
was thinking Hali.
Yeah, Hali. I could see Hali. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because there's so many like distinct game players, and like none of them are really like have played a similar game to me. So I would say those two, maybe.
Maybe even Andrea.
Yeah.
Maybe even Andrea. Yeah, maybe even Andrea.
Your idol.
Yeah, my idol.
Is your idol allowed to play like you though?
I mean, yeah.
Student schools the teacher.
I always try and find like, oh, I kind of played like Andrea like this, but like, did I? I don't know. I just like to play it. So maybe that'd be cool if she played like me. Who knows?
It would be cool if she played like you, and I'll leave it at that because all of our fans know what that means, I suppose. Anyway. Well, what's the next one?
We have. I mean, Giovanni, I think already asked one, but it's a pretty darn good question. So,
It is.
Final 3 is Aubry, Sydney, and Ty. Who wins? It's pretty much. I think it's pretty much asking if it was Sydney versus Aubry, who is winning that. It's like if Michelle goes at 4, doesn't win.
I would have voted if it was Sydney, Aubry, and Ty. I would have voted Ty.
Wow. So Ty is. And do you have a read on your?
At the time there was not a shot in hell I was going to vote for Aubry, and I think that Jason and Scott probably thought the same.
Wow.
I think that Nick would have.
It's really coming out here. Yeah, we're really learning a lot.
That Nick would have had a difficult time choosing between Sydney and Aubry. I think there's a shot that Jason and Scott would have voted for Sid because they were on Original Tribe together and they got along then.
Yeah, because Ty and Sydney both flipped on Jason and Scott, so they and then they never really got along with Aubry. So
yeah, but the thing is like Jason and Scott and Sydney, they were all gunning for each other at different points. But like ultimately, their like relationships, like underall, were like pretty good. Debbie might have voted for Aubry at that point. Joe would have voted for Aubry. But I could also see, I don't know, I would have voted for Ty. I know that.
Mm-hmm. So Michelle getting rid of Neil was a really good choice and kind of made it so that Aubry really didn't have a chance to win. And whoever was sitting there probably should have gotten rid of Neil as well.
Yeah.
Because that would have really helped Aubry out a lot.
Yeah, Neil was 110% going Aubry from the get, though. So. Yeah, that was a great move for Michelle. Some people say it was her best move.
It might have been, but hey, if you got to make one great move, make it the day before Final Tribal, right? Let's see here. This is Real Deal 2.0. What was your reaction to Scott and Jason's rock, paper, scissors games over that idol at the Tribal Council?
I was dying. Okay, that was the Tribal Council. I think I had immunity. And I talked about this in a lot of my exit interviews. I thought I knew like exactly how that tribal was gonna go. I was like, yes, this is my way. Like I know I'm in control. I knew it was happening. That's the power of that stupid freaking necklace. But in reality, I had no idea what was going on. No idea. I told Ty to play an idol. That wasn't even like an option. Like I don't even know what was going on. And like I totally admit to that. And I did like right after that. But no, I think I went back to camp, and that was the episode. The next episode was when I was like super salty that Scott went home, and I was like, like all mad because everyone like. I was blindsided by that completely. And then ultimately, like, I went home right away after that. But, yeah, that's when I knew I lost. Like, that's when I knew I was done, like, that moment. So it was tough. But I was laughing because I thought I knew everything going on. And, like, I didn't know they were going to do that. But I just thought, like, oh, everyone's fine. I know the way this vote's going to go. So
you called it the stupid immunity necklace. Do you think if you hadn't have had the necklace on, that maybe you would have been, I don't know.
Oh, I would have gone home. I would have gone home that night.
Okay, so it's not stupid necklace.
No. That necklace, as much as I hate it, I love it to death. It's the best thing in the entire world. It's like literally, I love it. That's my favorite necklace. It's my favorite piece of jewelry. No, but in all honesty, like I knew I was going home too. Like I knew I was going home that night if I didn't win immunity, and I happened to win, and I was like, but yeah. So, and actually, I remember like going back to camp that day with the necklace around my neck, and like that was the moment I was kind of like, okay, I just need like 1 or 2 more things, and I could win. Like that's when I really like it locked in that I had a shot at that point. Took that long though.
Who did you want to sit with at the end if you could have gone to the final 3? Who do you think you would have beaten?
I would have loved. I think I could have easily beat Jason and Scott.
Yeah,
I think like that was my ultimate goal. I would have loved to sit at the end with Michelle just because of our friendship, not like oh my God, I think I could beat her. Do I think I could beat her? I don't know, maybe. I think I had a lot of like, especially if Scott and Jason were on the jury, then there's a possibility that I could have. And like she wasn't, you know what I mean? If we're both sitting there, like that's a lot of my people, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, Scott and Jason for sure. I wanted to at the end with them. I was scared to death. I don't think I could have won against, maybe because like if everyone kind of felt the same way about Aubry too on the jury, like maybe I could have won against Aubry, but probably not. I don't know if I could have won against Sid. I think I could have won against Ty at that point. And Joe, obviously, old Joe.
Would Michelle have beaten Sydney?
Maybe not. Maybe.
No, okay.
I would have voted Michelle regardless. But I could see it's like say Aubry or like no, I think there's potential that Debbie would have voted Sid. I think that potential that Scott and Jason would have voted Sid. If Aubry was on the jury, Joe definitely would have voted Sid. Aubry definitely would have voted Sid. So, yeah.
Sydney was that close.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we'll never
and now
know
she's
for
been
sure.
blacklisted. Yeah, now she's been blacklisted. Let's see here. Will, are you up or am I? I don't know where we are.
Yeah, we have one here. It's from Caitlin. And, I mean, this question's not that serious, but it leads to other matters. What are the chances of Ty getting away with taking a chicken to the end? I guess it is like, can he actually keep a chicken around like you guys did? And then we can also get into that scene. I think it was a secret scene, or maybe it might have shown up on the show where you were like ready to kill the chicken.
Oh no, it showed on the show.
It was when like Scott was pouring out there, putting out the fire and the water, hiding the machete. And you guys, let's just ring mark the chicken. Like I
didn't even like, and the funniest part was like they call that like hot mic, you know what I mean? Like I didn't even realize I was saying that, and like I didn't think it would really like have any impact. And of course, that's the one thing I guarantee, like that's one thing I'm like remembered for. You know, it's like wanting to kill a chicken, because I got so much damn backlash for that stupid chicken. But I really hope that he doesn't do the whole chicken thing, because like it just became a pain in the ass, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I love animals, whatever. I love the environment, yada, yada, yada. But, like, I'm going to eat the damn chicken. Like, it's Survivor. Come on.
I like watching people start getting attacked by the chicken as the game goes on, and you're all just, like, flipping out. Like, get this thing off of me. Like, Ty, control the thing.
Would, like, hop in the shelter when we were sleeping, and we'd be like, Mark, like, get off. Like, he'd go in the hammock. Like, he'd, like, eat our food. Like, he was not scared. He just, like, totally – he wasn't even on a leash. Like, we didn't have him tied to anything. He just walked around. He wouldn't go anywhere. He'd just stay around camp.
That's amazing. And I loved Jason's confessional. He's just like, man, we've missed our opportunity to eat this chicken. Like, and he's this bounty hunter who's like starving, and he's even like, no, we're not going to eat Mark.
Long gone. And like, not only that, but like when we went on, I would say the most annoying chicken moment for me was when we won Chinese reward, and Ty brought the chicken in fear that the other people were going to eat the chicken. And like he literally, we get there before he even like does anything for himself, takes his hand, scoops it in all the rice, and puts it on the ground for the chicken. I was like, you're kidding me. Like the chicken was like jumping on the table. I mean, I guarantee even the film guys at that point were irritated with the chicken because like they couldn't get the shots because the chicken is just like jumping around, and I'm like, I just don't like. It's the worst, but whatever.
Mark the chicken was actually the villain of your season.
And like he definitely got more airtime than I did the entire first half of the show. Like I'm not a huge fan, clearly.
Was there any chicken at the Chinese food meal? Like, were you eating chicken in front of Mark?
That Chinese food, like, I don't know. I didn't know if I even like really loved Chinese food before, but that was like the best food I've ever had. And yeah, there was chicken there. I don't think we fed it to Mark.
That would be pretty dark.
Yeah.
Even if you did, just say you didn't.
Yeah, no.
Well, Anthony already asked a question, but this is something that I think we should cover is who do you think will be the first Kaoh Rong to get their torch enough, and who's going to go the furthest?
Caleb.
He's gonna be the first one.
Yeah, I just have like a vibe. Furthest, praying it's Obs. I could see it being Aubry too. Like ultimately, yeah, no, yeah, Caleb and then Aubry, I think.
All right, we have we have 2 more.
We have a couple, yeah.
Okay, if you had made the final 3, would you have revealed your age? Because you said that you didn't. Okay, so you would have been like, "What's up? I'm 18."
That was my whole plan. That was my entire plan all along. Like when I had immunity, I was thinking of what I would say like in Final Tribal, because I was like at that point I was building up a roster. I was like first of all I got put on Braun Beach. I saved myself and got Peter out. Like, you know what I mean? Like all this stuff. I was like had my thing ready to go, and I wanted to be like, and at the end be like, oh, and by the way, like I'm actually 18. So that would have been awesome.
That would have been so fun.
That would have been such a great moment.
It really would have been. And you probably win, honestly. Like if you just drop that. Like,
yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what my hope was. That would be my final like push. Like, and that's why I kept my age a secret. Ultimately, like I did in a lot of it. Honestly, I think it ended up benefiting me so much. Because I think I said I was 22 or something, and I think that Michelle at the time was like 24, 25. And like, so it wasn't that far off. Like everyone was kind of like in the age range, so no one questioned it. No one said like anything. But if I were to say like, oh, I was 18, people would automatically treat me differently. And like, that's why it was interesting for me to watch Will this season, who was like flat out like, yep, that's me. I'm the youngest, because I took a completely different approach. And I wanted nothing handed to me. I wanted to play just like everyone else. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to be dragged. And I think it gave myself more of an equal shot by like lying about my age. And it would have been like epic if no one knew until Final Tribal.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a shame we didn't get to see that. That would have been a really cool moment. Where is this? I just wanted to just because Joe Uke does comment all the time, so I just wanted to say, which of the 2 tribes would you want to be on for this season?
Not the really scary one.
Yeah, so you'd want to be on the one with like Zeke and
yeah, absolutely. I think I could do a lot better, like do a lot more damage there initially. I think I would honestly I think I would be more of like a leader, not like a target leader, but more of like a making moves person early on. If I was put on that tribe, if the other tribe, I would definitely like stand back.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have a hard time like really being out there.
Yeah, we already said you're Sierra's replacement, Don Thomas.
Yeah. They just never told you. Ahead of House Ho, that is exactly how I reacted. She put up a GIF, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I'm shocked we got through Michelle popping in as smoothly as we did. I want to give ourselves a pat on the back for that.
I need to, because I was shocked. I wasn't expecting that. And yeah, I mean, I'm serious. If you watched our season, I was just like, or when we were talking about your season, not our season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like the #1 Michelle fan in like the world. I think like I could have founded the Michelle Truthers. So
she's great.
Yeah. Will, where are we at now?
I mean, that's all I'm seeing. I think we have one from Alex Day. Why did no one just kill the chicken at night? That would have started a whole. It kind of like the game Mafia, where like everybody go to sleep and then someone kills someone, but it actually would happen where someone kills a chicken. I think that'd be a little too much.
It would be aggressive. Plus, like I was a sleeper. Like so was Michelle. Like as soon as the sun would go down, we'd be like passed out, and we'd be the last people to wake up. Her, me, and Sid would like sleep like as late as we possibly could until they were like, okay, you guys need to wake up because we have to like go to a challenge. And I'd be like, oh, okay. I loved sleeping out there.
That's funny. Yeah.
So, I don't think I could have done it in the night.
So there's no way you were getting up to sabotage the camp no matter how mad you were because you were just that focused on sleep.
No. And I highly doubt, like, if you were to, like, question, like, who put the fire out, who did that, and you really didn't know, and it wasn't Scott and Jason, people would definitely not think it was me because, like, I was, like, dead asleep all the time. I'd nap, too. Like, it was bad.
That's funny. Well, that's it for questions from the fans. I mean, we just hit 2.5 hours. You're our longest podcast ever.
I think so. I think this is it.
Wow.
We had to cover everything. So,
and it's going to get just a little longer because I have one more question. We got your top 3 in terms of who you want to see win, and you said you had a top 3. I think of who you think will win. Who are your top 3 favorites to actually go to the end and win?
Top that I think are gonna win.
That you think you're like, all right, this person I think is gonna win. Like you have your favorites, and they may overlap a little bit.
I could see. God, well, this is hard because I don't know whether or not to include Sandra in it. Like, you know what I mean? It's so
it's really tough. I've tried coming up with a winner pick myself. Like I'm nowhere close to landing on somebody.
She's like Sandra is definitely an outlier. I would say, maybe I'll put okay. I kind of want to say JT, but at the same time, I just don't. I don't know. Okay.
That was Alexa's first round fantasy pick. So.
Okay. Maybe I'll put JT. I could see Malcolm maybe, and maybe I gotta put a girl in there, right? Maybe Sarah.
There it is.
Okay.
Heard it here first.
That's the most random crew of people, but whatever.
So is this season.
Yeah.
So that's totally fine.
I think Sandra is my side piece.
I'm sure she would love that you called her that.
Just in case, I put some money on her, but not all my money. But definitely would not put anything on her. I don't know. It's so hard.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Will, do you have anything else? Or
I think that's. I mean, yeah, we're over the 2.5 hour mark. I think at this point, or we're coming up pretty close to it. So, Julia, this has been awesome. Lots of fun hearing about Kaoh from the first Kaoh player. This has been, and then Michelle popping in. Wow, did not see that one coming. Yeah, it's been great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, do you have anything else you want to say? Closing argument.
No, it's kind of it. No, no, I don't. It was super fun. I love talking Survivor. Always have, always will.
Good stuff. All right. Well, our next podcast is going to be our first fantasy game, and I think we're going to have our Kickstarter guy Vaughn is going to come on. We're going to do the bootless game. So if you've been planning for your bootless entry, that one's probably going to be this weekend. So get ready to that, and you can win a buff. So yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so you got anything else?
Well, we need Vaughn. Vaughn, find us. We'll find you.
No, I've been talking to Vaughn. We'll get Vaughn on here.
Good. Sounds good. No, that's it, man. We'll see you guys this weekend.